Good morning, everyone. The February 3rd, 2016 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting is properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV, Cable Channel 2 under closed caption for hearing impaired viewers. Please note customers of CenturyLink may view this program in high definition on channel 1002, and some customers of Cox Communication who do not have a cable box may view this meeting on digital channel 69.9. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.lasvegasnevada.gov. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 on the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also on Friday 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the rear chambers, go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner of the street across from City Hall and Lewis and First Street. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to the city clerk. Cards are available online in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please come forward and see our city clerk staff. And if you parked in the parking garage across the street, please be sure to have your ticket validated by security officers when exiting. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Reverend Robert Fowler, Victory Missionary Baptist Church, and remain standing for our pledge. Thank you. Good morning.
Mayor. Good morning, City Council. Bow with me, please. Eternal God and Heavenly Father, we thank you, praise you this morning for the precious privilege that we have of being able to be alive, being able to be in connection and in relationship with you, and for having the fellowship that we have one with another. Thank you for those that are governing over our city today. We bless you for them, and your word teaches us that we should respect and honor them, and certainly in our hearts we do just that. Not only are we grateful for them, but we're also grateful for their family, which provides them the opportunity and the support to give leadership to our city, and we thank you for that as well. Thank you for this beautiful day that you've given to us to live. The briskness keeps us awake, and we thank you for that, and we pray, God, that you would continue to shower upon us the kind of weather that you believe our city deserves. We ask today, God, that as we proceed through the proceedings of the council meeting today, that you would grant our council the strategy, the wisdom, and the ability to make decisions that would bring peace to our city, that we might cooperate with one another better. We pray that you would give them the strategy and the wisdom and the courage to make decisions that would bring prosperity to our city. We pray, Father, that you would help us to increase financially, that our wealth might display your favor over our city. And we also ask, God, that you would grant them the strategy and the wisdom to help them make decisions which would increase the power of our city. We believe we have intelligent people, gifted people that should be giving leadership to this country and not just following. And again, we're grateful to you for all that you do. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Fowler, and we're going to proceed on with our ceremonial portion of the agenda. Is that a whole hour for the show? Okay. So everybody's all bundled up. Oh, I see young people too. What school? Oh, nice. Go Chargers.
Say that more enthusiasm. What
No,
high
no.
school?
My Chargers. I got 3 sons that graduated from there. Good school. And Broncos. Orange. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, this is our ceremonial portion of the agenda, and for our first item, it's my pleasure to announce the winners of this year's Urban Design Awards in the city of Las Vegas. To qualify for these awards, projects must be located in city limits and make significant impact through enhancing public spaces, promoting pedestrian safety, conserving resources, and preserving historic buildings and places. Nominations open during the fall of each year for the following categories: buildings and environment, public places, public art, historic preservation, and adaptive reuse. This year, we've had some extremely talented nominees in all 4 categories, which reinforce our knowledge that we have an outstanding professional group in our community who, together with us, continue to focus on building a beautiful world-class city. Our first category is building and environment, and our winner is, and I saw on TV last night, Bunnyfish Studios for the Pioneer Apartment Complex in downtown Las Vegas, and I would like to invite the team from Bunnyfish. Please join us up here at the podium. And Mayor Pro Tem, if you can lift the award to present it to them. I understand it weighs about 20 pounds. Oh, my. Don't give it to them. It's too pretty. Would you like one on your desk? We can give one to each of our council people, too.
You have to earn it.
Beautiful.
You have to earn it.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. We're going underneath. Wonderful job. You were on TV last
you're
night.
right. Yeah.
What were you on TV saying last night?
So we have a commission.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. So we're Bunnyfish, and this is our good friend and client, Chris Gonia. We're Yanina and Craig and Tina. We have a small collaborative downtown architecture studio. And to answer the question, we have a contract with Clark County and City of Las Vegas to, as sort of they're redeveloping Maryland Parkway between the airport and downtown and adding mass transit and bicycle paths and stuff like that. Somebody along the way remembered that it should have human scale. So they got an endowment for the arts grant and hired us to make sure that as all these people are moving down and at a very fast speed designing wonderful things for the community, there's someone looking at places for art and for public space. So that's our...
Comment up there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is that yours?
Yeah. So and this is our project, The Pioneer, which is a small adaptive reuse multifamily downtown. So, thanks.
So we have representation that's fabulous, and we're so proud. Go, Chris. Oh, picture. Could we have a picture? Can we all come this way, and we'll just stand behind them or beside them right here? Who's got the camera? Okay. Great, thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Thanks so much, anyway, for bringing additional housing into our downtown. Our next category is historic preservation and adaptive reuse. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Wrong. Give me a sec. Okay. Thank you again. And our next category is historic preservation and adaptive reuse. We've had great nominees in this category as well. We had Jack Levine and Mark Adams renovation and rehabilitation of a beautiful historic home at 1245 South 15th. And we also had the historic old adobe rehabilitation by the City of Las Vegas out at Floyd Lamb Park at Tule Springs. Both were wonderful additions, and please give them a nice round of applause if you would do that, because they were fabulous. The winner, however, in this category is Mary Margaret Stratton and Carrie Stratton for the Pistachio Palms House, which should be up there. So please join us at the podium. The owners of this property took a shell of a structure which was covered in graffiti in the downtown area and brought this historic 1954 home back to its 50s glory. The significant historic fabric of the home has been completely preserved. Party Phillips built the home and landscaped it, and this has been uniquely preserved and exemplified the very best of preservation in Las Vegas. So congratulations to you both. We're so proud of you. And could you just quickly tell us a little bit of what you've done here?
Well, we're actually very active preservationists in Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Conservancy for years, 20 years. When we came up to Las Vegas, we knew there's a plethora of fabulous historic buildings here, including historic homes. So we've actually gone through and restored several historic homes here in Las Vegas, both in Clark County and downtown, and this is one of our pride and joys. So
how nice is a couple to do this? Yeah. Wonderful. All right, so how about a quick, you're still married. How many years?
26.
Excellent. Amazing. I could never stand to work with my husband. Let's have a picture. That's everybody right here. So if you contact us, I'm sure we can get you the pictures. They'll be online. Congratulations. So proud of you both. The runner-up in the public places category is the Matt Kelly Elementary School Beautification Project. This was a huge and terrific project managed by the city and the Keep Las Vegas Beautiful team in cooperation with Matt Kelly School. So please give them a round of applause. And our winner in this public places category is Crestwood Elementary School Garden Committee for the Crestwood Outdoor Garden Classroom and Mural Project, which should be up there for you all. Please join us. Anybody from Crestwood who's here so that we can give you a wonderful. This project team has developed an innovative and functional space complete with garden beds, compost murals, whiteboards, benches, water preservation systems, murals, and art, bringing a unique light to the space, illuminating the school's diversity, and highlighting its learning goals and objectives. So who's in charge here? And okay, hold on one second while I congratulate you all, and this is awesome. We're so proud. Congratulations. Will you introduce your team, tell us who you are, and then give us a little oversight, please?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Juliana Ortue. I am a special education teacher at Crestwood Elementary. This is part of our wonderful team. We have Miss Christine King, Miss Catherine Moore, our principal, Jackie Richardson, and our third grade teacher, Vincent Ortiz. In addition to teaching and running the school, a couple years ago we got the opportunity with a lot of grassroots organization, the funding to transform part of our school. We are sponsored by Owen and Marty Carver. We work with Green Our Planet, and we had a really great grant from the Greater Good Council, which actually you helped inaugurate. And so with that, we just decided to transform our school into a way to invite the community to come and be part of our school. We've launched an outdoor classroom garden, and we're about to launch another one for the preschool. And we started bringing in muralists and artists and having families come in and paint for us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations. So if we'll all get together, we'll get a picture. We're getting closer and people are getting taller, so anybody small has to get up front. Councilwoman. Okay. All right, so if you can see the camera, we're done. Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Awesome. And our final category is public art, and we had some extremely tough competition in this area as well. The runners-up were Zappos.com, murals that were part of Life is Beautiful Festival, and the city's Main Street art benches. Hopefully you've seen them all, because if you drive around in downtown, you will see the murals, especially on East Fremont and the buildings there. And the benches are all down Main Street. These are two outstanding projects. So we are so proud, and the winner, however, of this category is Square Shooting for the In Focus Downtown Architecture Photography Series. So please join us up here at the podium. These are the master creators here. This wonderful team provided a series of 25 architecturally significant buildings commemorated in their unique environment that makes our community, as well as memorializing, goodness, and I don't drink, these structures. That's a lie, I do. The diverse collection of the structures not only attracts attention to the community it represents, but also gives the viewer a renewed sense of appreciation for downtown's architecture, as well as serving as a historical record of the city we love. So congratulations to you both. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, announce who you are, and also both of you, and then tell us a little bit about the project, please.
My name is Ryan Reason. This is my partner, Jennifer Burkhart. We are very honored to be here today. We were selected by the Arts Commission to do this project. It took us about 9 months to do the entire project, where we captured all 25 buildings. It was an honor to be selected to do that, and then to have the gallery showing here at City Hall was another honor, and then now we're here getting an award for the project. It's a little mind-blowing. We're very, very proud of this, and we worked very hard on it, and we hope that everyone enjoyed it, and thank you very much for selecting us. Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Las Vegas. I'm a native. Jennifer's been here about 13 years now. She's from Michigan originally.
Your high school?
Chaparral High. Go Cowboys.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to you. See what you can achieve when you get a good education. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. All right, let's have everybody come down this way this time, and we'll have a picture here. But, oh, good. You've moved. So can you come closer? Councilwoman here, how about? Bob here. Sorry, you're deprived of height as well, so you have to come in closer.
Come on, Bob.
It's fair, you and your boots.
Did you do it? I got it. But you didn't get Bob. Oh. Congratulations. We are really proud of you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Great. Congratulations. Wow, that's exciting. I just get so excited about these each year. It's wonderful to have such talented people and see all the projects that we get involved in. And just, this is fabulous. Anyway, for our next two items, Councilwoman Tarkanian is going to recognize our Citizen of the Month, as well as some fabulously talented students. That's what I saw there.
That's right.
Yours.
That's right. Thank you. One of the highest honors that our council gives is selection of our Citizen of the Month. Each of us selects someone in our area who performs above and beyond average achievement. And today, Ward 1 is very proud to honor as Citizen of the Month Shirley McLeese Magnet Program Coordinator at Clark High School. Shirley, would you please come up along with your very faithful husband, Tommy, and also Jill, your principal. Just come up here. Shirley began her professional career in South Carolina, where she graduated magna cum laude in both her BA and MA degrees. She began teaching academically challenged students in grades 9 to 12 and was so successful, she was asked to create a reading lab curriculum as a young teacher, which was then adopted for use throughout the school district. The McLeese family moved to Las Vegas in 1988, where she immediately began teaching middle school English classes. In 2002, she began working as magnet coordinator for the 3 magnet programs featured at Clark High School, which I'm very proud to say that I helped start those magnet programs. Since then, her reputation as a magnet coordinator has soared, not only locally, but nationally as well. She has received numerous honors, local, state, and national, for her work, as have the magnet programs that she coordinates. She has been inducted into the Nevada Education Hall of Fame, and she received the highest honor for a teacher granted by the National Academy Foundation, the Janet Linton Director Award. In 2013, the National Academy named her a Learning Fellow. As magnet coordinator, she is able to touch the lives of 800 students each year. Although this scale is challenging, acknowledging the impact possible propels Shirley to ensure that all magnet students receive the personal attention they need to maximize the program benefits and to prepare them for college and future careers. Her contribution to creating what she calls a private school level of education in a public school for the socially, economically, and racially diverse students is what she considers to be her greatest accomplishment as a teacher. Because of the high need for assistance within the student population at Clark High School, Mrs. McLeese focuses most of her charitable attention to them. She is exceedingly generous with donating not only her time and talent, but also her personal funds through the Charger Closet, which discreetly provides food and clothing to needy students throughout the year and gifts for them and their families during the holidays. It is not an exaggeration to state that she is frequently seen on campus with her vehicle loaded with personal contributions, and she follows that same pattern throughout the entire community. She emphasizes parent involvement, and at her initiative, all 3 magnet advisory boards now have parent members actively involved. Through her many years in education, Mrs. McLeese has developed a keen sense of recognizing learning styles, which really is so critical. We never give enough emphasis to different learning styles, I feel, in education. And she has a toolkit for addressing the requirements for each style, which she shares with parents. In the magnet programs, one of her most successful achievements has been the development of a robust internship program, hands-on, real-world learning experiences. The relationship she has developed in the community with leaders in business and education come to fruition with intern possibilities for the students at Clark. As a member of the Clark High School faculty, she emphasizes the importance of teamwork. And the magnet programs have received such awards as the Excellent in Education Award from CCSD and recognition by Magnet Schools of America and by the National Academy Foundation. They seem to be getting an award every year. I'm over there, a new award, and she's very much behind all of that. She has championed a peer mentoring program, and she also, most importantly for those of us interested in education and getting new teachers, she has established a very strong working relationship with UNE-LV, where 18 units taken at Clark High School are accepted at UNLV towards a teaching degree, what a legs up that gives for those students going into education. And of course, they work closely together to make sure that the curriculum is at the appropriate level. We selected Shirley as Citizen of the Month, not because she is an educator, but because she is a professional who goes so far above the ordinary in giving of her personal time and resources in helping the students and parents in the community to achieve their best. That's why we're honoring you. I wanted Jill to say a few words first. I want Jill Pendleton to say just a couple words first, because she's worked with Shirley so long. And you know, you can't be good in anything you do in a school unless you have a great principal, and we have a great principal here.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure just to say a few words about Mrs. Kaplan. I've known her now for 7 years and worked closely by her side, and I just want to tell you that she pours her heart and her soul into everything that she does at Clark High School, and there's nothing that makes her happier than to see students succeed, and not just students that are within our magnet program, but she's also very involved in everything that we do in our community and for our neighborhood. I call her my right hand because I can always go to Shirley for assistance, help. She works with integrity. She's inspirational, and I'm truly honored to know Shirley, to work by her side, and to have her as a member of our high school family, because she is amazing. She's extraordinary, and she deserves this as much as anyone I can think of. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Starkanian, Mayor, and all the council members, for this recognition. We don't do things in life for recognition. You know, we do them because we have a passion about it. And I have the best job in the world. I love coming to work every day. And you're going to get to meet 15 reasons why I come to work every day in just a few moments. But I love working with these students. They are amazing. They have done so many wonderful things in life, and they will continue to inspire me. That's why I do my job. So thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you, Shirley. Shirley, here is your plaque. And you know that this will be out on our corner for the entire month, and we're going to have a picture taken by it right now.
Thank you.
Okay? Yeah. And now we honor the results of the Clark High School program. If Jill and Shirley will help me, we can give the certificates divided between the two of them, and then you can give them as the students come up. And remember, you're on television. You'll be on television several times this week. So have your parents catch it. Do we have any parents here today? We have some parents. Stand up. Let's oh, come on, you guys, just a second. Stand up, parents.
Parents stand up.
Parents stand up. Yes. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's what helps. That's what helps students so much, with the parents supporting them. So, as I said, now we'll honor the results of the program with certificates of merit for all 15 National Merit semifinalists. Yes, that's correct. In the last 3 years, Clark High School has had 14, the next year 14, and this year 15 semifinalists. And I feel no hesitation in honoring them now, because in each of the previous years, all but one of those semifinalists has become a merit finalist. So imagine, that's tremendous. You have a record. There's no record It's a record unmatched in Nevada. I just want to tell you. At any time, there has never been a school who has set a record like that. And we're so proud of you. So I wonder if you would all come up here, please. And we're going to give you a certificate of merit. You can come up right now. Yeah. We can divide the group so we have half on each side. Well, yes, shake hands with everybody.
Go right on down.
Don't they look good, though, really?
Best is yet to come. Keep going there. Congratulations.
Hello. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job. Thank you. Good future to you. Wonderful.
Congratulations. Stop right there. You guys stay on this side?
Great. Congratulations to you and the ladies.
You know, doggone it, when I see this and how great they look and what they've achieved, I just feel so proud I had something to do with starting that magnet program. It just makes me feel part of it. So now what we're going to do is Shirley and Jill, you have these certificates and I will say their names. And then you can give them to them, okay? Andrea Busiescu. I hope I'm close. Okay, Frankie Chung. Austin Chu. Mira Daney. Samantha Freeman. Alisa Gray. Samuel Haig. Griffin Horowitz. Nakita Ignashuk. Michelle Malwain. Christian Ung. Carter Pattison. Neha Raju. Excuse me, I left out the sound there. Cody Thornock and Jimmy Zhang. And did we have them all, I hope?
And now the applause.
This status is not easy to achieve, and we're also very proud of what you achieve at Clark High School. And how about one of you saying a few words representing the group? Come on, you're our future leaders. Come on.
Okay, I'd just like to say that Clark High School is an amazing school. We've learned so much through all of our amazing classes. We would not be able to have done this without all of our amazing teachers that we have there. Our staff, the principal, Ms. Pendleton, and then Ms. Kaplan, they've all been so wonderful to us. It's been amazing, and I'm glad I'm sure all of us are glad to accept this honor.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
But don't go away, if I might add.
Please, don't go away because the mayor is going to say something.
I'd like to just start at the end. I want to know what middle school you went to. Hyde Park. How many Hyde Parks? Okay, and we have a variety of elementary. What was your middle school? Cashman? Canarelli? Lawrence? Canarelli? Bob Miller? Hyde Park, Hyde Park, Hyde Park. Hyde Park, Hyde Park. Oh my gosh. Well, we just know it comes with great parenting, supporting students, and giving them the opportunity to be all that you can be. I've given each of the students, for good luck, good health, a $1,000 chip that really does work. It is good luck and good health to you as you go in the future because you are representing this entire community. You're all seniors?
Yep.
All seniors. So I won't embarrass you. And some of you may already know that you're already into colleges and universities. Okay, I have to do it. All right, here we go. Plans, and you may not hear till April, I know that, or plans for next year.
I want to go to MIT.
All right.
Baylor University.
Excellent.
I want to go to Harvard.
Oh, it's cold there and snowy. You don't want to be there. Or MIT, even though you're neighbors.
I'd like to go to Yale.
Oh, you're still up there.
Also Yale.
Okay.
University of Pittsburgh.
Wonderful.
Duke or UPenn.
See, you're smart. Penn, forget the pen. You'll be cold. But at least at Duke, you'll be a little warmer.
Texas A&M.
Excellent. You'll be with us.
Hopefully Georgetown.
Wonderful.
Cornell.
Cornell. Oh, cold.
Another MIT.
MIT.
Ooh, also Yale.
All right. Oh, see, you're finding out for the first time.
Harvard.
Oh, good job.
Stanford.
Excellent. You're smart.
NYU.
NYU. What a wonderful group. So go well and know that we're watching you. Have a great time. We're so proud of you. And Jill, both of you. I mean, everything that you do, you're setting an example for education around the country. Thank you. Thank you. Miss.
I wanted Jill just to say a few words, if she should, that are a little personal.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm coming. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilwoman Tarkanian and the other members of City Council. We hear a lot in Las Vegas about what's wrong, and I'm here to tell you this is what's right. These students are amazing, and they work harder than anyone that you can imagine in the classroom. They take the most difficult course of study available to a high school student. Many are taking 4 or 5 advanced placement courses right now. Many are taking Calculus 3, which is unique to Clark High School, very, very difficult mathematics. I'm confused every time I walk in the door, and they laugh at me, but that's okay. These students represent the top 2% of students in the country, and not only are they achieving in the classroom, but what you see before you are state champions, academic competitors that are winning across the board in their competitions that they participate in. There are club leaders, our student council members, people that are making a difference on our campus and in our community. And they couldn't do it, though, without the support of the adults that are in their lives. So I'd like to thank all of the parents and families that are here today. I'd also like to recognize the extraordinary teaching staff at Clark High School. When people ask, how do you do it at Clark? I say we have the best teachers in the city. And also we haven't introduced Joseph Winfield, our curriculum AP, who likes to be in the background, but he does amazing work. And so for Mr. Winfield, thank you. Clark High School used to be one of the best kept secrets in Las Vegas, but I think the secret is out. And Mrs. McLeese said that she has the best job in the world, but I'm here to tell you she does not. I do. So thank you for having us here today. Thank you for recognizing this amazing talent. Thank you.
And just quickly, I wanted to say, at one time, you noticed how many were from Hyde Park. At one time, Hyde Park was in trouble. And I was on the school board, and a lot of parents came to me. The academics went where they should be. We were able to change that by getting the right principal, by getting the right teachers. That's the whole key to all of this. It's not all the committees we have. It's getting the right people who have the passion, who know how to teach, and who want to teach. That's what it is. So Hyde Park is one of our best middle schools in the city, and so is Clark. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best. And congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Congratulations. And who are these little beautiful, who do you belong to? Who's their brother? I am. Are you the lucky one? So you've got, what's your name? Mackenzie and Sophia? Beautiful. Aren't you proud of brother? So you make sure you take care of him tonight. He gets special treatment. Oh, all the pictures are taken. So again, congratulations. Good luck to you. We'll be watching you. And thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you so much.
Take a quick picture.
Picture, okay. How do we do this one?
Yeah, just let everybody
Organize this, Mayor Pro Tem. Are they going to lie down in the front? What are they gonna, how are we going to do this?
We're short.
Look at her pictures. Thank you. Great. Thank you and congratulations to all of you. Good luck going forward. Good luck. Good luck to you. Congratulations. So the key is the best of principals and the best teachers in every school in Nevada. So you have set the model and the bar, and we're working very hard. We hope to make sure that this is true throughout Clark County and certainly in our city. Our final item, I have the honor of recognizing a great Las Vegas family who has done so much for our community over the years. I'd like to ask Linda Alterwitz Mizrahi and her brother Larry, who is unable to be here today, to come on up. Linda, please. She's a wonderful artist. What high school?
Valley.
Valley High School. Oh, we got a couple of valleys here. Wonderful. Anybody here? Valley? No Valley. Oh, we got that. Okay. Anyway, we want to thank this wonderful family. As many of you know, the Alterwitz family is responsible for Walker Furniture on Martin Luther King, and has been in the downtown area for years. It was founded in 1955 and has provided furnishings and accessories for hundreds of thousands of Southern Nevadans over the years. In 1994, the Alterwitz family developed a very special program called Home for the Holidays. And every single year since that year, they have donated furnishings, a full house worth of furnishings, to families. In 2000, last year, in 2015, 30 families in need were given new furniture for their home. The Walker partner with Star Nursery and the Las Vegas Rescue Mission to ensure that the families have food and toys for the holidays. And the program, which began with servicing 12 families in 1994, has grown to serving these past 30. Every year, the season of celebration begins as letters are sent out into our community to ask for suggestions who should be highlighted as families for the home for the holidays of Walker Furniture. Most of the families obviously have experienced great hardship in their lives, and the donations show the character and love for this community that the Alterwitz family holds. Can't thank them enough on behalf of all of us, and we want to present you with a proclamation today making Wednesday, February 3rd, 2016 Walker Furniture Day in the city of Las Vegas. And we thank you, Larry, if you're watching, and Linda. Linda is such a talented artist as well, and many of her paintings have hung here in City Hall and in my office and the mayor's office, and I know you do it because you really love our community. Could I impose upon you to say a few words? Sure. She's not shy.
On behalf of my family and the entire Walker Furniture family, I want to thank the community for allowing us to help Las Vegas. Las Vegas has helped us to become who we are, and giving back is an honor for us, for Las Vegas. So thank you to Las Vegas.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Linda. And as you know, we're going into Project Neon. You know, we're all waiting in traffic with cones everywhere. So their shop, their furniture store, as you know, is on Main, across from, diagonally across from our Metro complex, and opposite Costco, but has been there, and great bargains all the time. I understand for, what is it called, Black Friday or Black Monday, whatever it was? Black Friday, you had over 600 people lined around the building for the special, yes, I mean, just fabulous. So your generosity to our community over these many years is really exemplary, and we thank you. These are people who give back, certainly, and really mean so much to us. So congratulations, and thanks, Linda, please, and thank Larry and Daryl and the whole family. We're so proud and grateful. So thank you all, and we appreciate it, and best of everything. And we're going to take a 5-minute break and a picture. Yes. Oh, wait. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Are you sure she's supposed to take 5 minutes? Mayor, aren't we going to have Chinese music? We usually have.
I don't know. I don't think so.
What about the Chinese? It is on the agenda.
We have to find out. We were maybe going to have something on Chinese New Year. The next meeting it's pushed out to. Okay, so we will take we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll be exactly 5 minutes. Thank you. Good, 5 minutes is plenty. Thanks. Okay, everyone, we're going to continue on, and I believe we are turning to agenda item 10, which I believe is correct. And this is public comment. During this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. We do already have cards from Rolando Larraz as well as Yolo. Oh, look who's there. Hi. And Tiffany Krenti, is that right? Krentz.
I have
Your handwriting. Oh, no, that really is very nice. I see that. Wonderful. So please, again, state your name. No address needed, as you know.
Idolina Iturralde.
But you have to wait for the microphone. Where is it? Okay.
Can you hear us?
Can you pull it down towards you a little bit?
All right.
Go.
I'm here with Tiffany Krentz, and we're representing Krispy Kremes today. We brought some donuts for you all.
We love that.
We already coordinated with Jace and Christy to make sure you guys had some, and I took some up to all the staff office. And then next I'm hitting up the marshals so they can get a nice sweet box. I wanted to introduce Tiffany. She's the fundraising manager for Krispy Kremes, and we also have some packets available for every council member. And in here is some information about the many ways you can fundraise with Krispy Kremes. And since we know so many organizations come to you for funds and sponsorship, we thought it would be best for you to have the information. There's also a nice coupon inside. So I'll let her introduce herself and give you a little bit more
Thanks, Ido.
information.
Good to see
and
you.
I'll pass this up.
Thank you. And again, restate your name for the
Yeah,
record,
so
please.
Tiffany Krentz, and I'm the fundraising sales manager for Krispy Kreme Donuts. And we have a very profitable fundraising program that can help out a lot of community services. We can help out with schools, with churches, nonprofit organizations. Profits are about 50 to 60% for the organization, and we do support the community a lot. So anything that we can do to help, and there's many different ways to raise funds. There's certificates, value cards, donuts, coffee. So we can help with all of those things. So please keep us in mind for that.
This is for everybody. Nice. Oh, extra packet. Sorry. I thought I gave them all up there.
Yes.
Your Honor.
Well, we love that. We always take bribes, whatever it is.
Your Honor, I will, in the spirit of our team up here, volunteer to be between Captain Anthony and the donuts.
Great.
Donuts are in my DNA. I mean, it's part of the police academy, I think.
And if some of you missed our opportunity to visit the Krispy Kreme cruiser yesterday, we had a nice itinerary mapped out yesterday and cruised all over Las Vegas. We hit up some schools, we dropped off donuts at Metroplex, we went to a fire station. So we're really doing our best to get the word out there. So we hope if you have any questions, you can reach out to Tiffany. Her contact should be in that folder.
And how about your website or email? Would you like to get that on?
Yes, so the website, they can go to krispykreme.com and go under the fundraising program. And they can select the store that's closest to them, and all the tools and all the information is in there as well.
Wonderful. Well, we thank you. Thank you for treating us so nicely.
Of course.
Welcome.
Nice to see you all.
Good to see you.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank you or take the opportunity now to thank you all for your support and assistance with the East Las Vegas Library. So we're very happy that's moving along, and I just want to add that 2 cents.
We're excited about it.
Good job, Councilman.
Thank
We're
you for your
very
time.
excited.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good day.
Thanks so much. Anyone else?
Here in the back.
Well, how much a
Good
commercial
morning.
like that cost? It's free commercial. Okay, my name is Rolando Larraz, and I'm located at 717 South 9th Street. I don't know who, pardon?
Where are you on the radio dial?
I'm not in the radio dial, I'm on, online. www.radio3bune.com. I don't know who my councilman is, I don't know what district I am in, but I have a problem with the homeless in my parking lot.
You want to put that on the screen there?
Where's that at?
See it right there. Mr. Radke will help.
I got a problem with that. The people sleeping over there is about 10, 15 people sometimes. Calling Metro is useless because it takes an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes to get an answer from the 311 operator.
Thank you. If you will see Felipe, is that you, Felipe, there? In back, you're in Ward 3 with Councilman Bob Coffin and his assistant right there, Felipe Ortiz, would be
Yeah, I
happy
know
to
Felipe.
meet with you, so
I
if you
know
take
Felipe.
him the picture.
Okay.
They make things happen, so please do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful. Anyone else wishing to be heard, please come forward.
Oh, I want to do a little commercial. Danny Tarkanian is going to be in my show on February the 19th, so you can hear him.
I can assure you, Councilwoman, be hearing and listening for sure.
Wait a minute, everybody better be listening for sure.
Thank you. Okay, hearing none, we'll close that public comment, go on to agenda item 11. For possible action, any items that the council staff or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Tarkanian has requested that agenda item 29R-2-2016, resolution supporting the addition of a second level 3 trauma center in Southern Nevada, be obeyed to March 2nd, 2016. And staff has requested that agenda item 42, bill number 2016-11, be stricken from the agenda. That's my motion.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to agenda item 12. Possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the January 6, 2016 regular city council meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion, Mayor.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve those minutes. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Items 13, this is items 13 through 25 on the consent agenda, considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any items that council wishes to bring forward? Nothing? Okay. And I will alert the clerk on agenda items 18 and 19. I will be abstaining as I have a son who is involved in the medical marijuana.
I would move, Mayor, to approve the consent agenda, items 13 through 25.
So if you will note that on 18 and 19, I'm abstaining, but everything else I'll be voting in the affirmative. There's a motion to approve, please. Please vote and please post. That motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 26, abeyance item, report by planning staff on taverns with restricted gaming and discussion for possible action regarding direction to staff.
Mayor, may I ask a real quick question? Is there any way that we could take item 27 out of order? We had Brian Smith fly in from out of town to join us for the Cleveland Clinic item. Would that be possible if we take the out of town guest first before our internal staff presentation?
Absolutely, thanks.
Sorry,
We'll
Mary.
have staff, that's fine, thank you. We will hold that and do agenda item 27, discussion for possible action regarding the Third Amendment to Disposition Development Agreement, DDA, with the Cleveland Clinic Foundation regarding the acquisition and development of land at Symphony Park located at 888 West Bonneville Avenue. This is in Ward 5 with Councilman Ricky Barlow. So, good morning.
Mayor, this is Betsy Fretwell, City Manager. I just wanted to kick this item off a little bit. I wanted to share with everyone that we've had a very long and successful partnership with the Cleveland Clinic. They have been providing some incredible healthcare services to our city as a result of them being present here, exploring research opportunities, partnerships, and I feel like they have been a great contributor to the city of Las Vegas. Not to mention that their project was first out of the ground on Symphony Park and is a real point of pride, I believe, for our community. So we're excited today to present basically a new development agreement that will set a new course for our partnership with them going forward as they continue to develop the Ruvo Center for Brain Health and all that brings to the community, as well as, you know, potential future expansion of that facility and other medical office offerings into the future. So I just wanted to get that on the record to say that we're really happy about this agreement that we're presenting today, and that I believe it paints an opportunity for a continued strong partnership with the Cleveland Clinic going forward.
Well, and after the presentation, Ms. Stark, good morning, I'd love to hear from the representatives and what are plans, not so much in the physical planning, but what are plans for the future operational disease and consideration. So at that point, you get the opportunity, please, and thank you and welcome here. So, Mr. Arndt, please.
Good morning, Mayor Goodman, members of council. For the record, Bill Arndt, Director, Economic and Urban Development. With us today is Mr. Larry Ruvo and Mr. Brian Smith representing the clinic. I'd like to extend my thanks to Mr. Smith and his team on their diligence in working on these agreements, and for our team, Mr. Nick Niarchos and Shawnee Coleman, who worked a lot of hours to make sure we got this done. As Betsy indicated, our partnership with the clinic is just that. It's an important partnership. And these last several months have given us an opportunity as partners to take a deep breath and evaluate what's most important. And really what's most important is our business relationship. As everyone in this room knows, and hopefully in the community knows, the Cleveland Clinic as an institution is doing great things in our community and the services they're providing to our community. So we really wanted to rethink our business relationship and focus on the business relationship and not let some of the dynamics of the real estate get in the way of the clinic and the flexibility they need to move forward, as well as the flexibility that the city needs to move forward with attracting new developers and new investors in Symphony Park. So to that end, we've modified our development agreement. There is a site plan that is shown on the overhead. And so what we're doing is we're essentially modifying our development agreement. I would make one note, the agenda summary page references Third Amendment. Because there are some wholesale changes to the agreement, it's actually a restated agreement. So this new agreement supplants all the prior agreements and arrangements with the clinic. And what we're doing, if you look on the overhead, and it's each parcel is listed in black letters, so it may be a little bit difficult to read. But parcel A1 is essentially where the existing Center for Brain Health is. Parcel A2 is where the existing parking for the clinic operations is. And then parcels JK and parcel B were for planned expansion. And so what we're doing, we're modifying the development rights of the clinic as follows. We're actually taking back development rights for parcel B initially to look at some potential new options for Symphony Park, but we think long-term that we are going to keep a focus on medical for parcel B. So parcel B will be available for new uses, and we're going to certainly keep a conversation going with the clinic to see if and when it would make sense for them to be interested in it. Parcel A2, to try to expedite things for the existing operation and support the existing operation, and as a strong show of good faith behind the clinic and the city supporting the clinic, we are agreeing to honor an earlier commitment to transfer parcel A2 for $1. We're going to accelerate that transfer to support not only the existing operation, but to support the plans for future expansion, and I believe Mr. Ruvo will be touching on that. Parcel JK, in our prior arrangement, we had an agreement where if they met certain performance milestones, the clinic could purchase that parcel for $1, provided that they build out a campus there. And because the timing is a little bit in a state of flux, and we want to give the clinic as our partner a lot of flexibility on how they build that out, we're changing that purchase arrangement where they have a hard deadline to a purchase option. And so we're giving the clinic a 3-year purchase option where the clinic would have 3 years to continue their advanced planning, try to figure out what would make sense on parcel JK. In consideration of that 3-year purchase option, the clinic has agreed to extend consideration to the city of $500,000. So that will come into the city. They've also, as the clinic has also agreed to give the city flexibility on considering alternate uses for that site during that 3-year period. So for instance, if we have a new user, whether it's a medical research facility or something that would complement the clinic, and the clinic isn't quite ready to pull the trigger, but another user is, and it would complement the clinic, we think that's a win-win, where we can continue the momentum that we have for medical in Symphony Park. So the clinic has been gracious in agreeing to that, and so we do have the right to essentially suspend or terminate that purchase option if we do accept a third-party offer where we want to move forward with a new purchaser and it actually closes on the property. That would essentially nullify the option, and of course the consideration would no longer be needed for holding the purchase option. But otherwise the clinic would have the 3 years. Also, if we enter into an exclusive arrangement where we're talking with a third party and we have to suspend the option and things don't work out, whatever time we were talking to a third party would extend the length of the option. So for instance, if in the 2nd year of the option we had a new user come in that made sense for Symphony Park and was complementary to the clinic operations and it didn't work out, we'd tack an extra year onto that purchase option. The purchase option, we're setting the price at high appraisal. We are giving the clinic the flexibility. Land prices always change everywhere, including downtown Las Vegas. So in the event that the clinic feels that the purchase price should be different than what is stated today in our agreement, which is our high appraised value, the clinic, at its discretion, can prepare a new appraisal, submit that appraisal and that new purchase price request to the city. We're not bound to accept that, but if values do change, we want to recognize that real estate is dynamic, prices are dynamic and fluid, and we would consider but not be obligated to a new purchase price. I do have some changes to the existing document that was submitted for the record, so I want to give this to the clerk. I also have a copy for each of the council as well. And I'll just touch on these real quickly. The definition of closing date was amended from March 9th, 2016 to April 29th, 2016. Section 11, condition of title, a 30-day preliminary title report review period was added. In the option agreement, which covers parcels J and K, Section 4.3, third-party offer, was amended to allow disposition of J or parcel K individually or JK as a unit, and a third-party offer for an individual parcel would trigger purchase option for the clinic. Also, that section was amended to clarify when an offer triggers a transaction notice that City Parkway 5 would certify that it has a third-party offer transaction prepared which can be presented to the council, and further that we have to clarify what transaction notice must be sent for that third-party transaction agreement. And essentially what we're doing is we're submitting a redacted copy of that third-party offer to the clinic to show that in good faith that we did get a third-party offer and we're considering a third-party offer. With that, that concludes my remarks. I'd be glad to entertain any questions, but I'd first prefer to turn it over to Mr. Ruvo and Mr. Smith, and again want to thank them for their continuing partnership and investment in the city of Las Vegas.
Thank you, Mr. Ard. Absolutely. Welcome back, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Ruvo, it's your home.
Good morning. There was a lot of accolades earlier about a lot of our citizens. I think the accolades have to be thrown back to the council. When we came to you approximately 8 years ago and had this idea, I've given you a progress report of what's happened, but I'd like to even update that. Since we've opened, we've seen over 70,000 patients, but last year we saw over 25,000.
Excuse me,
Yes.
you forgot to state your name.
Larry Ruvo, I'm sorry.
Thank you. No,
Excuse me.
just for our record.
welcome.
Thank you.
Larry Ruvo, Chairman and founder of Keep Memory Alive. So last year we saw 25,000 patients, but I don't think that's the whole story. They're coming from around the world right here to Las Vegas, and I will tell you that, in my opinion, but more important, in the opinion of the Cleveland Clinic and our board, this has really become the epicenter of brain health for not the United States, the world. And this amazing group of doctors that we've put together have come to us some time back, about 3 years ago, and said, well, we have a problem in Las Vegas. There are no MS doctors, no board-certified MS doctors, and we are having approximately 2,500 of our residents go out of state to get treatment. Fortunately, I did not have any MS in my family, and I said, well, what's it going to cost? We went and raised the money. We brought one doctor in, and since I've been involved with the Cleveland Clinic, this is the only time that I can tell you the Cleveland Clinic made an error. The error was there was not 2,500 Las Vegans with MS. There was over 4,000. We didn't bring in one doctor, we had to bring in two. And I was a little disappointed that in a city that I grew up in, we didn't have any MS physicians. Well, now we not only have a full MS department because of the Cleveland Clinic, in addition to Alzheimer's and brain health and neurology and our clinical trials, but our boxing study. It's the first boxing study in the world, and here we are, the boxing capital of the world, and we've put together with Dr. Bernick and a team in Cleveland a most comprehensive boxing study that is not only now supported by the Fertitta family and the Arams and Golden Boy and all the MMA fighters in boxing, but we really have now the NFL has just come to take a look at our program, and the Retired Players Association is now involved. So just a few blocks from here, maybe sometimes we've got to throw the accolades back and say, one, if our former mayor, Oscar Goodman, and this council and our current mayor didn't believe in this, we would not have the largest footprint of a brain health center in Las Vegas, the head of, because we now have 5 other Lou Ruvo centers. Since we've opened here, thanks to all of you, we have 3 in Cleveland, 1 in Florida, and soon 1 in Abu Dhabi. So I look back to the old City Hall, and I have to say thank you. I had a dream, but these are the dream makers up there. And it started, obviously, with our former mayor. This next piece of property, we needed it for the parking, number one. We needed it for expansion, ultimately. And my dream is that we bring additional services here of the Cleveland Clinic to Las Vegas, which I know the mayor knows how desperately I'm working on that. But I think that's the best update I can give you is your constituents, the voters of this city, don't have to go out of town any longer for an MS. We've got a world-class Parkinson. And I can promise you for Alzheimer's, there's not a better place to have a person examined. And 3 weeks ago, Mike Milken had called, and Mike put the Lou Ruvo Center under Faster Cures, and we had hosted a conference of 250 doctors from around the world. And they stood up and they said to our Dr. Cummings, I don't know if you realize, but with the multiple sites the Lou Ruvo Center has, this is the largest brain health neurological center of an organization in America. So I thank you for your foresight. I thank you for the property. I thank Frank Geary. But I really believe that all of you should be very proud of what's going on just a few blocks from here.
We are so thankful to you spearheading this and putting forth all the effort. MS, of course, for those of you who might not know what that is, it's multiple sclerosis. And so it's MS, Parkinson, Alzheimer, and the contact sports now, obviously, but boxing and perhaps something with the football. And what other pieces are you looking at right now?
Well, right now it's also MSA. With our loss of our friend Carrie Simon, that was another. With Carrie Simon's passing, we now have the largest MSA program in the world, and we've done the registry of MSA. So it's reaching out to Cleveland, to Dr. Cosgrove and our board, and tell us what we need here and what we didn't have. And it's very exciting. The amount of money we've raised because of this generous community and a lot of benefactors is extraordinary. And Councilwoman, I'll put a little ad in that May 21st, we're going to have one of the great parties of Las Vegas because we're going to celebrate Tony Bennett's 90th birthday this year. So Tony Bennett, and our caregiving program, that's how Tony got involved. You know, he's the poster child, I believe, for what we're attempting to do. Tony Bennett, at 89, soon to be 90, paints, he's busy, he travels, he came through the center, spent time, did a lot of video for the city of Las Vegas, gave us a lot of PSAs and a lot of interviews and such for this upcoming event. But he walked around and I said, well, Tony, tell me what you think. And he says, well, I think this room sounds as good as Carnegie Hall and I want to sing in it, but I really like the caregiving program because I got to tell you, Larry, I'm 89, but a lot of my friends have just retired and sat home, they're dead. He said, I want to show these people they got to keep active, whether it's painting or walking or whatever they do. So he's going to be a big part of our program in the future. But immediately, about 100 days away, May 21st, Tony Bennett's 90th.
Beautiful. Thank you. And if anybody wants to contribute to Keep Memory Alive, they do it by
KeepMemoryAlive.org.
KeepMemoryAlive.org. Unbelievable. Good morning.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council. I'm Brian Smith with the Cleveland Clinic. So accordingly, we could not bring donuts. We'd have to bring something that was more healthy and I'm sure less tasty. Yeah, I just want to second the fact that we really do enjoy our ongoing working relationship with the City of Las Vegas. From Mayor Goodman, Councilman Barlow, thank you very much for your support. Betsy Fretwell, Bill Arndt, Shani Coleman, and the whole economic development team are truly great to work with. As we go forward, the proposal set forth by Mr. Arndt really gives the Cleveland Clinic the latitude and the flexibility that we need to do our planning in advance. We are also very appreciative of the opportunity to join in with the city in several of the community meetings to talk about overall development in Symphony Park, and that certainly includes the development of potential parking structures and so forth, which obviously are vital to our future success here in Las Vegas. So we are very appreciative of this opportunity, and we want to thank you all very much.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, please?
From here.
Yes, Councilman Coffin.
A great big thank you to both of you. And as someone who's grown up here, and I know, Larry, you've lived your entire life in this valley, you recall we all recognize we're still fighting an inferiority complex about medicine here in Southern Nevada, that the hospital is at McCarran, and, I guess I went to Milken's doctor when I had prostate cancer 8 or 9 years ago, and so you know how it is. You feel like you got to go where the best are. The best are here for brain health, and the 21st century really is about brain study, brain health. We know so much. When you look at the NFL and its slow but now progressive momentum to recognize CTE and I think the other illnesses that normally come, but they're accelerated with contact, and the boxing study and the UFC kids. I think we're all going to be finding out a lot more about it. I think those kids are going to be fighting fewer fights, but quality fights as we find out how much people can withstand. And that applies in all kinds of life. I don't care if you run a jackhammer out there in the field or you do something else that disturbs your brain, because it is the soul of your body. We know humans can live with everything else quiet, but if the brain is alive, you can live. And so I want to thank you all for bringing the focus of this area to the most important organ in our body.
Thank you, Councilman.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we're very excited. Councilwoman, please.
As someone who has a granddaughter with MS and who has been at your clinic and whose husband was at your clinic, I just want to say how very proud I am of all the work Larry has done, all the work you have done in the Cleveland Clinic to bring this to us. It's a gift, it's magnificent, and I just want us to help all we can for you to be as successful as you can be. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Rubo, Mrs. Smith, thank you so very much for all that you all continue to do for this community. You know, it's interesting when the community sits back and don't think of the future of the health and the safety of the citizens that live here until a family member runs into a situation to where they can't receive that level of medical care here in the city and have to travel outside of the community, which is a major financial hardship for those families. And having had my own family members visit the Cleveland Clinic, it really opened up my eyes that we could have been one of those family members that had to take our loved one out of state for the care that the Cleveland Clinic has provided. And so I'm truly grateful and well educated now in regards to the level of service, the level of quality care that the Cleveland Clinic provides. And I want to see that grow so that other families will also realize the significance of having that level of care in our community for the protection of our family members. And so as we continue to grow, as we continue to expand, I want to make sure that I do all that I can within the span of my reach and resources to assist you in that developmental growth. And so I am in support of moving this item forward so that the Cleveland Clinic and Larry, your vision can continue to be shared with not just the residents here, but with the world, for those that are now traveling here for those specialty services. And so for that, Mayor and Council, I would like to move forward to approve this item of the DDA before us today, and really want to thank Mr. Arndt and Shani Coleman also, and the entire EUD team for all of their due diligence, as well as the City Attorney's Office for pulling this together in short order. Thank you so very much. Much success to you.
And that's your motion.
That is my motion.
And there's a motion to approve. Please vote and please post, and God bless you.
And Mayor?
Yes,
While
please.
we're waiting for that, we should say that you and I have been to a lot of meetings pushing the reimbursement situation, right?
Yes, that same rate reimbursement on Medicaid, even though you're largely supported by Medicare reimbursement, but it does spill over, and especially as you go into the youth that are involved with all the pugilistic sports and go on into general mental health issues. So
Mayor?
we're
trying.
It did post, and it does, of course, unanimously pass. Yes, please, Councilman.
I do have to add, for the sake of what was provided to us, I would like to make, for the record, stated and amended. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I might, Ms. Fretwell, could you add a little something? Because Mr. Smith alluded to the garage and parking. Where are we with our garage that's going to be in Symphony Park?
Well, we're evaluating options, as we've mentioned before. We are still working through the financial analysis associated with the Tourism Improvement District. Those numbers are looking very positive at this point. We are hoping that we will be able to put together potentially a package where we could allow a joint venture to happen, where a private developer might be able to couple our garage with their development.
Oh.
So we're working through that as a potential option,
On
as
B?
well as
On B or no?
we might leave it open to get ideas throughout Symphony Park on eligible parcels to see what kind of response we get. The other thing we're working on is, if we do the project ourselves, where would it fit? How would we do it so as to not keep private development from happening in a meaningful way on any parcel that might be impacted by a parking structure. So we're looking at a couple of different options, and in fact, we're working towards a major report for council to have in their hands this month. and then bringing back some of that bonding activity to you over the series of the next couple of months as it relates to Symphony Park, the parking structure, as well as some of the other things that we're trying to get done in that area.
Thank you. And Mr. Arndt, could we have a copy of that map with the new designations on each of the parcels, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Mayor,
Safe
thank you very
travels.
much.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very much.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. What a great venture, and certainly something that puts Las Vegas in a whole different ballgame. Okay, let's go back to agenda item number 26. Thank you for being so patient with us, and your report, please.
Good morning, Mayor and members of the Council. For the record, Mary McElhone, Section Manager for Business Licensing. We're back before you again today to talk to you about taverns with restricted gaming. Our report covers basically two areas. The first area is what to do with new restricted gaming establishments, and we're going to present some options on those. And then the second area, the second half, is going to talk about our existing taverns with restricted gaming, and should we amortize those or grandfather those in, and we'll give you some options on those as well. So since we met with you last, we wanted to let you know that we did meet with the Gaming Control Board. The Gaming Control Board basically explained to us that there are 5 primary businesses that are allowed to have restricted gaming. And basically, it's your drugstore, grocery store, convenience store, packaged liquor store, and bars. In our situation, the bars would be our tavern, urban lounge, and restaurant with alcohol licenses. As far as they're concerned, if you have one of these primary businesses, then gaming is considered incidental. And as long as you have compliance with the Nevada Revised Statute and the state regulation, they meet the requirements for restricted gaming at that location. The Gaming Control Board also advised us that at this point in time, they have no plans in the future on this subject to revise the statute or the regulations, and they also do not have plans to take a different approach for licensing. So the first option that we have here is strictly modeled off of our results of the survey. Basically, what we found from the survey is that if you're looking at strictly gaming revenue, those locations that had less than 50% pretty much had a very large restaurant model. So the first option says, basically, if you want 8 or more slot machines, you would need to have this restaurant model. This would be where the locations would have about 5,000 square feet, 100 dining seats, a full kitchen, and prepared full meals. Now, option 2 builds upon option 1. So what we said was, could we allow additional business models? So if you wanted 8 or more slot machines, besides having a restaurant, could we also allow billiard halls? How about topless nightclubs? Or even bowling alleys? We could also put something in the code that would be others as designated by City Council, giving City Council an option there as well. And what we would do is we required them to meet one of the following criteria. It could be based on the percentage of floor space dedicated to that new activity, which would exclude gaming. It could be that the revenue from gaming would have to be less than 50%. And then also there's this restaurant model as well. Now, option 3 is what the county has done. So we could adopt something similar to the county. Right now in the county, for new locations, you must have a physical bar, 12 slot machines in the bar top, a full restaurant. The full restaurant includes a fryer, a grease trap, a hood, so they've further defined what that kitchen should look like. It needs to have 25 dining seats and be open 16 hours a day, and of course, prepared full meals must also be available. It cannot be items that are just reheated in a microwave. Or the locations can report on an annual basis their gaming revenue. That gaming revenue must be less than 50%. The calculation of that has to exclude tobacco sales. Then there's option 4. Option 4 is make no changes to the future business model and just leave the code the way it is. Right now, what we have been doing is putting restricted gaming with tavern on the discussion item of the agenda, and we can continue to do this and let council make their decision on number of slot machines and whether it would be approved or not. So, existing locations. So this is the second part of our presentation. What are some of the options? Should we grandfather in existing locations, or should we require future conformance to whatever that new City of Las Vegas code would be? But before we go over those options, let me talk to you a little bit about the challenges that the city faces. In our survey, these are some of the results that we found out. 25% of those surveyed have less than 2,500 square feet. 42% report to us that they do not have 12 bar top slot machines. And the reason why I mentioned the 12 here is because this is what the county has done. So it would affect 42% of our current locations. 23% of those locations reported to us that they do not have a kitchen. It is possible they have a kitchen, but they're not using it. It's also possible that they're leasing out the kitchen facility, so they did not report revenue to us. Our tavern locations right now do not have any requirement to serve food. And 16% reported to us that they do not have a physical bar. And this last fact here has been mentioned in the past. Right now, there are about 959 employees that are at locations where the gaming revenue is greater than 50%.
Repeat that.
Could you please repeat that for Councilwoman?
The last
And also
sentence.
the number of units of the places these 959 work that are above 50%?
So right now, we have about 959 employees that are employed at locations where their gaming revenue is 50% of their total revenue.
Or higher.
And in our original survey, what we said was, let's see, 75 of the 101 that we surveyed had revenue greater than 50%. So 75% of our locations have revenue greater than 50%. And that was, and their average gaming revenue was about 72%, these locations that I'm talking about. So option one, again, this is our existing locations. If we do decide to grandfather them in, if we're concerned about the continuation of the slot parlor model, one of the things that we can do is, in addition to grandfathering them in, we can say that those locations must continue in the same operating model and physical layout that they currently have now. So what that means is if they have a bar, they cannot take the bar out. If they have a restaurant, they must maintain the restaurant. If they have 45 dining seats, they must maintain those 45 dining seats. If they decide that they are going to change the operational model, then they would have to comply whatever that new City of Las Vegas code is.
And I would ask you on that, looking to the future, we know slot machines are aging out. These are going to be interactive. Does that constitute a change in these potential grandfathered in locations as they move to more technologically interactive types of machinery or use rather than slot machines? They're gaming rooms.
One of the things that the Gaming Control Board did talk to us about is the face of gaming changing and have portable devices so you'd be able to play like gaming on like an iPad. And the answer to your question is that right now, one of the things that the county has addressed is that if you have 12 slot machines in that bar top, you have to maintain that. So in answer to your question, we would have to address that in these grandfathered locations. So if we grandfathered them in, we would have to make an allowance to whether they could take those slot machines in or out of the bar tops.
So for the interactive play that's coming, and this is a dying breed, you're saying that all of these grandfathered, we'd have to come up with some assessment there.
That is correct. If we wanted to allow them to take those slot machines out of the bar tops, we would have to make an allowance for that for mobile gaming, that sort of new type of gaming technology.
That would seem reasonable for you as staff to consider as we look ahead to what's coming, because slot machines are going to go.
That is correct. Right now, the bar top slot machines, a lot of that is older technology.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd like to ask you to sort of consider that as we're going forward, because if we're approving grandfathering in, should that be the vote, we're grandfathering in what you've written right there, and that's soon to be gone.
That is correct, and we could consider that.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor. Thank you very much. I hope that we move forward, Mary, as we study this with an idea toward some flexibility involved in here. My goodness, I think the counties, as you know, this started with the county, the fixing of screens mandated to be in the bar tops. Well, okay. And then there was a quarrel out there with certain members of the industry about at what kind of level could those screens be canted. And so they installed them so that they could be flexible, so that depending on a person's age, eyesight, the glare in the room, they could see it like you would want to see a computer screen, clearly. And yet, I understand that there are still beefs about, well, about that. In other words, saying they should be fixed at a certain angle. And I think there's got to be some room for entrepreneurship here. You know, some clever solutions have to be. There's a tough political decision in a sense, because we have to decide if we got too many bars. But on the other hand, we also want to make sure that those who are there have an environment that they can work in and be creative, so that they can cater to their customers, because that's, in the end, that's who wins, is the one who does the best job of that.
Yeah, so we can do that. We can consider different options for grandfathering in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, option 2, we talked just briefly about some of the limitations on the size of some of our current locations. Our smallest location within the city is only 1,000 square feet. The next one is 1,100 square feet. So we do have some real small locations. And option 2, basically we say again, maintaining 8 or more slot machines, you could do that only until the ownership changed or a date certain. And what this option considers is the size of some of these locations. We could take the Nevada Revised Statute, and that guideline is that they would have to install a permanent physical bar, a restaurant with 25 dining seats, and that would have to be open 12 hours daily. But again, that would be a challenge to some of our very small locations. And then if they are a large location, we could have them meet whatever the new City of Las Vegas code is. We can also put an exception in our code for very small locations so that they would be exempt from any changes of this sort in option 2. And then option 3 is basically what the county has adopted. They've taken a 3-tier approach. And basically what they say in their code is that if you're licensed before December 22nd of 1990, you're exempt from all the new changes. So you don't have to put in the bar or put the slot machines in the bar top or have the restaurant. If you are licensed between December 22nd, 1990 and December 8th of 2006, you can continue to operate in the same operating model and physical layout. So you must maintain the business as it currently exists. You are allowed to sell it, but the new owners must also maintain it. After December 8th of 2006, you are required to conform to the new code. They do have an exception to this. If you have 50% or more of your slot machines in the bar top, you can again continue to operate in the same model and physical layout. And then option 4 would probably be the most strictest, is whatever we decide that new code is, date certain, all of our locations would have to comply by. So here's a map of the city of Las Vegas, and this is to show you really what's available, and there really isn't much available. If you look at this map and you see the little purple triangles, those are taverns, and the pink circles around those, that is the 1,500-foot buffer zone for other taverns. And then the blue is the distance separation between churches and schools. So as you look at this map, you can see that there's not much left. We have a few exceptions in Town Center and Summerlin, some other areas. There are no distance separations, but you do need a special use permit to have restricted gaming, so there still is a barrier to entry. So this last slide is just in summary. What we're hoping to do today is to present this information to you, some different options, and to get some direction on what our next step would be, and to find out what the direction of council, where that should go.
Thank you, Ms. McAlone. I just really am looking at this and considering this now and seeing what the future is going to be. I'm very concerned about changing anything and making a determination for anything until we see how that evolves. That the interactive gaming that's going to come and replace slot machines, what does that do to the taverns? Have you asked any of the tavern ownership? What are they seeing come about this, and is this not a little premature? We can talk about what the status quo is, but knowing that any of the Sallys or Mollys or Dotties or any of those, in order to gain continuing customers, they're going to want something that is going off a laptop or off your iPhone or some other interactive material. So as we call it a gaming establishment of sorts, whatever that restriction is, I just wonder if this is perfunctory at this point and not to ask you to do some more work, but I'll let everybody ask the question first. Please, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Ms. McElhone, would you go back to the colorful drawing of the city? There we go. Considering that there are very few locations for any additional tavern uses, I think that because we have the ability as a city council to review any new requests for special use permits and the land use decisions for these new locations, I think that each of us has the ability to say, no, I just don't think it belongs in that location. And I think that covers us in regards to doing anything. You've done exactly what this council has asked you to do and doing all this homework. And I know I asked you in briefing how many man hours you put into this. But I think all of us, as the Las Vegas City Council, has a very good understanding of what it is, what's out there, how we got to this point. And I'm perfectly comfortable with our ability individually in our wards. I think Councilman Beers and I have a couple more locations that could see a tavern use in our respective wards. But I think it gives us enough coverage with our ability to say no when the SUP is requested. So I'm comfortable with that direction. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, and I'm going to ask you, Councilman Beers, in just one sec. I see the Summerlin to the left or to the west. The area that's in green, a different green up to the north beyond Sky Canyon, what is that? I can't read that.
I think I can answer that.
Please.
Betsy, if I'm correct, through the mayor to Ms. Fretwell, I believe that's going to be the next disposal area. Am I correct for the BLM?
Well, you've got two different things going on. So the dark green to the west is Summerlin West.
Right.
Right? So there's a development agreement for all of the issues associated with
Right.
that. And then the area to the north, the bright green,
Yes.
is where we've recently expanded the city's boundaries within the disposal boundary. So those will be open for development.
Okay, thank you.
Private development.
Thank you. Councilman Beers, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess the only thing that I would want to think about is whether or not in allowing these fake taverns that give away all their food and drink like Dottie's don't really have a core tavern business, and we allow them to take up space, we're actually denying our residents access to what I would call real taverns, traditional food and drink establishments like we all grew up with here in Las Vegas. And we know that probably, it's a long sordid story, but probably half these locations are not in fact operating as taverns. Even though they hold a tavern license, they are giving away essentially all of their food and beverage, which is the core tavern business. So I guess to the extent we don't do anything, we are in essence crowding out real taverns with these fake slot parlors. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your request to us to, well, first of all, as staff, oh, okay, certainly, Councilman Anthony?
I guess what's happened is we give out these tavern licenses, and we really never paid attention to exactly what a tavern's supposed to look like. We kind of just weren't really paying much attention to it. And when I think of a tavern and what it's supposed to look like, I guess I think of the television show Cheers. You know, most of us that have been around a while have seen that, where, you know, you walk in and there's a place to sit down and eat, and there's a waitress or a waiter that brings you food, or you can go up to the bar and hang out with your friends and you drink and watch a little, you know, watch some TV or sports. And in Las Vegas, you get 15 slot machines if you fit that category. And we have a bunch of those type of models in the city of Las Vegas, but we have a bunch that don't fit that model. I mean, you just walk in and you don't get that feeling where you sit down at a restaurant or you can sit down at a bar. It's basically just slot machines. So, you know, moving forward is kind of the easy part. I mean, your option one, 15,000 square feet, that basically fits that model. The ones that we currently have, I mean, we should probably do something to make sure they look like taverns. And what that is, I'm going to kind of leave it up to you to take a look at. But maybe it's option two. Maybe we need to look at something like that. But to just sit back and say that there are certain business models that are licensed as a tavern, and they're not actually operating as a tavern, we're kind of sticking our head in the sand and, you know, saying, okay, well, we just won't look at those anymore. So I know the county took a stab at it. I don't know if that was the right way to go or not, but we should at least take a look at that and make some decisions as far as that particular area is concerned. And we don't need to do that today, but I think we really need to pay attention to that. So that's my comment.
Councilman Barlow.
Yes, thank you. I'm in agreement with Councilman Anthony on this one as well. I believe that we have an opportunity before us to really clean up a number of businesses that are not operating in the way in which I believe that we, as a council, voted them into to operate as, and having an opportunity to now look at this and revise the way in which we want what we consider taverns to operate within the city of Las Vegas boundaries. The onus is on us to now correct that, and I believe this is a gateway to, in fact, move in that direction. And so I'm leaning towards option two, with multiple models that we can come up with that will assist those businesses to adjust according to how this mayor and council would like for them to operate within our city boundaries. And I believe that we are in a position today to do that, and specifically taking what the county has already gone through and using that as a model could be very helpful as well. And so I'm very open to moving forward with some new design and approach so that we can clean up a lot of the business models that we don't care for within the city limits. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, looking at this, and two things. What I see is a decision going forward and knowing the inordinate amount of growth that's going on in the Northwest, knowing that there's hotel, casino, reserve property there. I think that's an area. My biggest thoughts are, I know over the years the county has sought to do changes in restricting these properties that are already there in some areas. And absolutely, from your research, it's made no difference. It's just been a cost to the ownership. It's made no difference as to their revenue. And having spoken at great length with the Gaming Control Board and knowing that the entities that are there are compliant, they're good for business, they have had no law enforcement problems, I tend to look at this as this is what competition's about. And if people don't come to them, they're out of business. So I don't think it's the role of government to dictate going backwards and doing Band-Aids here and there to make them comply and put this in and put that in, because they're successful doing what they're doing. And as long as law enforcement doesn't have a problem and they're complying with the Gaming Control Board edicts, my personal feeling is that this is about the future and looking at the fact that we are a tourist place and they love to go, especially in the downtown area, to go from tavern to restaurant to tavern and have the choice for that movement, everything close by and not long stretches of walking. It is drawing the tourists downtown, and we have seen that. But out in the residential areas and knowing there are restrictions through Summerlin and maybe ultimately up in the Northwest that will happen, I think what we should do is be looking at the future, and that entails, in addition to asking you to become more informed on what is the future of gaming and then how do we handle it. Because we're in a pause situation right now, and it's going to be up to the tavern owners to know how are they going to be addressing the interactive gaming that's going to change out the entire plan. But I find them very successful, people wanting to go to them, and it's all about competition. And at the point that people don't come into those taverns or don't go into a store or don't go into an art gallery, sadly, they close. So I'm very much about less control and less government, but also making sure that they're in compliance with law enforcement, and we shouldn't be band-aiding. So you have here that you need a motion for something.
Really,
we
Mayor,
don't have to take action?
We're following what you asked us to
Okay.
do several meetings ago, which is to put together
I'd
this
like
whole
more
host of research into what could be turned into an action by you today in the form of direction to staff to begin
Thank you.
working on an ordinance that could reflect option 1 all the way to
Got it.
4, which is a
Okay.
no-action model.
Right.
But there's
I
no
get that.
obligation to act today.
We don't have to, but my suggestion's going to be, I see this as very, definitely two things, the retroactive and the future. And my sense is that we should look at them in those two ways. I don't believe we have enough information looking into the future because we don't see the design and locations for that huge growth out there. And what we'll say from Mayor Pro Tem, what he might be seeing is hearing from the people, what do they want? Are they going to want taverns out there? Same thing out in Summerlin. Is there any request as Summerlin West continues to expand? What do the people want? So, you know, my sense is at this point, it's a report, and we need an awful lot more information to be wise enough to make a decision on this. But I would, and I don't know, in that sense, if we just take no action, is that something we need to hear from everybody at this point?
Madam Mayor?
Make a motion to accept the report.
Madam
Councilman
Mayor?
Beers. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
I would like to ask, how far away is this future with all the high-tech gambling? I mean, is it 1 year, 2 year, 5 years? If we made mistakes, and I do believe mistakes were made in the past, if we did that, then, you know, are we going to let them continue for 5 years if it takes 5 years? So what is the timeline closely?
When we talked to the Gaming Control Board in December, they said the technology actually does exist right now. However, as far as they knew, there was not a single location within the state that had actually implemented it.
Right, it's going to take time because you'd have to redo a lot of your business and put a lot of money in it, I would think. So I'm just wondering how many years ahead? Do they think 2, 3?
That is something we could ask the Gaming Control Board, and you're probably looking at about 2 or 3 years. Usually what happens is they'll have a site that is selected that is the beta test site, and so they'll take the new gaming technology, they'll implement it, the Gaming Control Board closely monitor it, and they'll audit it and make sure that it's functioning properly.
Well, the other thing is, Madam Mayor, I just feel that we continue to give you, look into this further business and look into this further, which you've done tremendously well.
Yeah.
And given us great information, but I thought it might help if we just tied down and said, you know, option 2, as he mentioned, or option 3, as the county, is maybe the one we're most interested in, and can we build around that what we might feel like doing? I just feel that gives a little more direction rather than just collecting information.
Well, you know, it's very interesting, if I might add. There is a company downtown, Insert Coin, which was interactive more for the Pac-Man style of gaming. Hugely popular in its initial several years. And then because things were changing in interactivity in whatever it is, what you call not necessarily gaming, they were paying for an hour to use the machines. I think that's going to really take hold, and to go to the millennials and ask them, because if in fact these young people don't gamble, which is what we're finding, that the older generation continues to avail themselves of the slot machines, when that generation moves out, if the younger people coming in aren't enjoying it, they're not going to frequent the businesses. So it might just end up being that pilot program has to be out there somewhere to see if it works. And so how do you, I mean, maybe there's a timeline you allow for up to a certain number of years and then reevaluate. But I think we're dealing with a whole nother group of people and interests, and I believe every slot machine operator, no matter where they are, is looking at, are we going to be getting rid of these permanently, because the younger generation is not going to be sitting there putting coins in or their credit card and playing with those same old slot machines. So to me, we're premature at this point, except looking what do we want in the future in these areas that are exploding.
Well, basically then, if we take that tack, that we're not going to do anything until the future's here, we're going for option 4.
Or put a timeline to bring it back with something, or there's a pilot. Councilman Beers?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I'm personally tending toward siding with Councilman Barlow and Councilman Anthony on the option choices for your future.
Excuse me, could you just talk a little?
He likes the same option.
Yeah, I was agreeing with
I just couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
I was agreeing with Councilman Barlow and Anthony on option 2, I think, is the one they were advocating. But I do want to point out, there are no slot parlors in Summerlin. Summerlin has different overall master zoning. And so if they say no, they don't get sued like we do. That's really the problem. You go in any of the 5 licensed taverns that are located in city limits in Summerlin, and you immediately can tell that they're a tavern, not a slot parlor. So they have the luxury of having the authority to not have to write this definition down. They can go off their gut. You just walk in the door and you can tell. It's a great luxury. I would like that someday.
Yes, please. I think, did Councilman Barlow, did you click in, then you, Councilman Coffin, please.
You know, Mary, to the mayor's point, and I see where she's going with this, if we choose option 2 as far as the various business models, we can insert in there the opportunity for the flexibility for the bar tops, correct, as far as the gaming units, not necessarily saying that they have to be stationary, but also have the ability to utilize the new technology that is coming online at an ever expanding pace as the year goes on. I mean, you know, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, for example, a Blockbuster was taken out by a Redbox, which was taken out by Netflix and Hulu. So the evolution of technology continues to be at a rapid pace, and so we want to keep up with that and make sure that the businesses that are operating within the boundaries of the city limits still have the flexibility to keep up the pace, so that they can continue to have that end user come through the door, so that they can be successful. And so for that, I believe by giving the city of Las Vegas that optional 2 component, and really, looking at each segment, making sure that we're not putting anyone out of business, but we want them to operate within the boundaries of how we, as a mayor and council, want them to operate, whether it be the insert coin that she mentioned or others all the way out into the far southwest as well as the northwest, and to include, the inner core of wards 1, 3, and 5. And so we all have a variety of taverns spread throughout the city, but I believe that there most definitely can be tiers 1, 2, and 3 as far as how, in fact, these taverns, quote unquote, are operating and functioning to make sure that they fall within the guidelines and the policies of what the city of Las Vegas can really define as what a tavern really is within our jurisdiction. Thank you.
And in that, are you talking about making that retroactive to all the companies that are already in place, or are you talking about just for the future?
Well, I believe that's where the jury is still out, Mayor, giving us an opportunity and giving staff an opportunity to really massage that and see where it fits, and if it don't fit, allow us to identify why it don't fit, and then make a decision as to whether or not we will force the issue or leave it in the status quo category. But I truly believe this is a great opportunity for us to clean up a lot of the bad business practices that are taking place in these taverns, specifically in Ward 5.
Thank you. Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Mayor. I would hope that we don't choose an option today, but choose, and I hope whoever's going to make a motion, that the motion is to receive, because many of these options contain provisions which could be used in other options. It's like a dim sum menu at a Chinese restaurant. There's an awful lot you can do, and I think that the fact that this has now been released for public consumption, I think we should let it circulate and do our own cogitating on what we want. I don't feel like I'm in a big rush to make a move, whatever option somebody else wants. So I'd rather we spend some time, a month or two, figuring out what makes sense for the community. It's going to take some time to study. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you a question, if you would, and with your staff. What do you think would be an amount of time before you really can bring some further crispness to this? So I really feel I'm not, and I hate ever abstaining on things unless there's an ethical reason why I must, but I really don't feel I have enough information. I could look to the future, because in one area said, look, we don't want the people that live out here and all the businesses here don't want any more taverns. They don't want any more restaurants. They just want, who cares, parks. I can understand the future, but when we're dealing and looking retroactively, I couldn't possibly.
In looking at things retroactively, as far as the mobile gaming, we would have to go back and talk to the Gaming Control Board. And not only, we know the technology exists, they told us that, but I don't know if there's statutes or regulations that may somehow need to be changed or tweaked to allow it in a restricted gaming establishment. They didn't discuss that with us. So that could be a big hurdle. There's no beta test site. I can tell you now, because I used to work for gaming, that a beta test site, it can take up to a year, maybe a little bit longer. That site has to be approved before anybody else can have that technology. And so that's one of the things that we would have to go back to gaming and have a big discussion with them on. The other thing is, council gave us direction to draft an ordinance. We could work within the guise of the information that we received here on, sounds like option 2 going forward, and option 2 retroactively, that we could come up with some information to draft an ordinance.
In about how long would that be? If I just might finish the thought, because to me, if you could bring it back just that way, one going forward, one looking at retroactively, is two different studies, we might be able to move one or the other. So what would a timeline on that be?
The way we would do that, Mayor, is...
Pardon?
The way we would do that is either you all would take action today to direct us to work with the city attorney's office to draft option 2 with a grandfather clause and without a grandfather clause for council consideration at a future meeting. That's one option to do what you may want to consider today. The other option is, if you don't feel at this point that you have enough information, we can monitor what's going on at the State Gaming Control Board level as it relates to their future recognition/regulation of emerging technologies, so that when there is a change at that level, then we could bring that back to you in a briefing and have you tell us, okay, now we want you to draft an ordinance. The third option is any one of you can request an ordinance to be drafted along any of these lines. I mean, obviously, with the exception of option 4, which is a status quo option. You know, and then you all would be considering that on its individual merits, whatever option you chose, 1, 2, or 3, frankly, and whether or not it applies retroactively and to what degree or not. So really, we don't have an opinion at a staff level what you should or shouldn't do. This is clearly a policy call. What we've simply tried to do is put out for you options that offer you a reasonable way to begin to address this issue should you choose to do that now. We can create a threshold if you want us to bring something back to you when something changes. You can tell us to do that simply by saying that on the record today and taking no action. Completely your call at this point. And we will follow whatever direction the council gives us today and deal with individual direction through the request for an ordinance that way.
Mayor, through you, of course, Ms. Fretwell, that being said, maybe it's prudent that we just table this item until such time as one of us requests an ordinance, or we just accept the report.
Just accept the report.
And go from there.
And you can go from there. You don't have to table it because there's really no reason to have it tabled, because let's say you left it on the table for 2 years. The report would probably be different in 2 years anyway, so we'd have to start over.
So then I'll make a motion to accept the report, and then any of us as council members have the ability to direct staff to write the ordinance.
Okay,
So
there's a
that'd be my
motion
motion.
there's a motion to accept the report, and let's see what that does, but thank you,
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Melholm. And we'll have the comments after. Let's take the vote first. We're having a motion to accept the report, and please vote, and please post that, and then,
Your Honor?
yes, please,
If we have the
Mr. Councilman.
flexibility to request almost anything in an ordinance, what do my fellow members feel about a prohibition on Councilman Coffin making dim sum menu references between 11 and 1?
As long as there are Krispy Kremes in there, please. Thank you very much. And really, we would love to hear what the Gaming Control Board, where that pilot, you called it something else, where the pilot program's going to be, because all these slot machines are going to die. And so what is the future? I'd almost love staff to go downtown and have a meeting with Tony Shea and Fred and all their group and find out what are they looking at? Why would they go to and I think that would be information, you might be able to sell it to all the owners of all the places down here as to what are you looking at? Would you go into a slot parlor? Would you, what kind of interactive games? And it might be a good meeting just to have. I'd be interested in what the Gaming Control Board's doing anyway. So if you'll keep us posted, thank you.
Mayor will keep you posted.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all the information you're giving us. Okay, we're moving on to agenda item, is that 20?
Did we have public input on that, or we don't have public input on that?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I think it'll be public input. Yeah. And maybe that's a great idea, Councilwoman. Ask, maybe some public input that we could do it with the millennials and anybody else who wants to join in, but find out.
We'll see what kind of research is out there as well and share it in a briefing. Sure.
Because I'll
happy
bet
to.
you the hotel, Caesars Entertainment, MGM, they're all looking at it as well.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
if you would inquire
There's some
of
of our
them.
gaming partners that are sitting in the audience right now that I'm sure would be happy to share with us where they think things are going when the time's right.
Would you, in fact, find
Absolutely.
that out, please?
Sure.
Get back to us. Thank you. Okay, we are on agenda item 28, report by staff and discussion for possible action regarding an update and status of bill number 2015-69, ordinance number 6462 relating to the Citizens Pedestrian Mall. Okay, I see Mr. Jerbick was there and he disappeared. And he has returned.
I forgot some papers. Good morning, Brad Jerbick on behalf of the City Attorney's Office. As you recall, on September 16th, 2015, this council adopted bill number 2015-69, which regulates conduct in the pedestrian mall downtown. At the time, Mayor, you indicated that it's a work in progress and you would like to have a report as to how it's working in a couple of months, and so here I am to give you that report. At the end of it, I'll make some recommendations, and I'll take any questions from you. I do want to say that there are 2 or 3 street performers that I'm very familiar with in the audience today that may have some comments they wish to make, and so if you'll give them a couple of minutes at the end of my presentation to make those comments, I think that'd be appreciated.
Well, we would love that. And is your report inclusive of going back to the businesses that are part of the Fremont Street experience and seeing what? Yes, thank you very much.
Let me just start by setting the stage for all of this. After the council adopted the ordinance on September 16, 2015, you set a date for its effectiveness on November 1st of 2015. That would give us a chance to get the computer program up and running and get some other things in place. Keep in mind the relevant changes were, instead of distance separations from kiosks and doorways, which we had before, this council created 38 performance zones downtown, 6 feet in diameter, 40 feet apart, and you changed the decibel level for how much noise could be made by an individual performing in one of these circles. It's 85 decibels at 25 feet or 107 decibels at 1 foot. Since that time, Fremont Street Experience placed a booth on 3rd Street at 3rd and Ogden that has served as an in-person registration booth and in-person lottery booth. A number of individuals, as we know, don't have access to technology, and so any individual who wants to register and sign up for the lottery can do so at the Busker booth downtown, which has been manned by the City of Las Vegas, by volunteers, and by the Fremont Street Experience.
How many hours a day, please?
We run it from 2 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the evening, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it starts an hour before the performance zones go into effect, and it goes until 8 o'clock in the evening. Now,
7 days a week?
I'm sorry, it's
7 days a week.
7 days a week, that's correct. When the booth went into effect, we were very close to having the computer program running, but we weren't close enough to have it running online. So this got off to an interesting start. On November 2nd, we started taking live registration at the booth for individuals who wanted to perform. I'm going to show you in a moment the slides from the website so you can see what it was that was created by staff. But in any case, from November 2nd until November 16th, registration had to be done at the booth. And on November 16th, 16 days later, we ran our first lottery. The computer program was written by staff. I want to thank Craig Andrews for everything that he did. He did a wonderful job writing this program. But a couple of things just were a little more difficult to achieve. As I indicated to the council back in September, we had anticipated that if you were in the lottery, and you had to change spaces every 2 hours, that you would be able to move to the very next space. We'd have sequential rotation. That was not part of the computer program. We were not able to get that done in time, and it's not done now. I will go over some options at the very end of my presentation for what we're going to recommend with the lottery, but that wasn't done. But the lottery did go into effect on November 16th for spaces on November 17th. That very first day, I think only half the spaces were allotted because only 20 people applied or less. The next day, the numbers rose, and since then, we've had between 40 and 65 people every day. Every space has been given out virtually for the last couple of weeks. Excuse me. What we did before the lottery rolled out was Fremont Street Experience went out and identified the 38 spaces that would be used as performance zones. And they, at their expense, created things that look like gigantic poker chips that are 6 feet in diameter, and they have been placed on the surface of the pedestrian mall, and they are adhesive in nature, so they stay there. And they are 40 feet apart. One of the things I'll mention at the end of my presentation is those circles didn't end up exactly where they thought we thought they were going to end up, because there were manhole covers and things like that where some of these spaces were, so they had to be adjusted. But they are 6 feet in diameter, they are 40 feet apart, and there are 38 of them as required by the ordinance. The other thing that we did was we numbered the spaces that were not within 100 feet of the stage, and we gave letters to the spaces that were within 100 feet of the stage. Because as you may recall, the ordinance has a provision that says when their stages are being used by Fremont Street Experience sanctioned performances, those spaces may be eliminated. Because we haven't been able to completely agree as to what kind of performances will eliminate those particular spaces from a lottery, we have not eliminated any of those spaces from a lottery based on performance. We have eliminated spaces based on special events. So we have had occasion where the First Street stage was closed, And those circles were taken out for that particular event. The biggest event of all, of course, was New Year's Eve, when the entire mall was closed. So all the spaces under the canopy were eliminated that night. The only spaces allowed were those spaces by Slotzilla in front of Indianapolis and that space on 3rd Street, which is the free performance zone. Before the ordinance went into effect, we did a considerable amount of training. We worked with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I again want to thank Captain Walsh for everything that he did for us. He provided a training room which was used to train both Metro and some members of our detention enforcement, now our Department of Public Safety. And then through Chief Friedman, she provided training space for us to do supplemental training with our Department of Public Safety. And so we've done about 3 or 4 rounds of training with our officers. And for the very first time, you saw detention and enforcement deployed in the pedestrian mall. And I'll talk about the success of that in a moment. Currently, we have 464 individuals registered as street performers downtown. Let me go through what an individual does to register. In front of you, you've got a little pile of paper that's full color stapled together. The very first sheet, if we could go to the overhead, this is the home page for the City of Las Vegas. So if you do have access to technology and you log into lasvegasnevada.gov, this is the page that comes up. And I'm going to point to the upper right-hand corner. There's a button that says Street Performer Registration. If you push that button, this page comes up. And what we'll say is information on registration program, new registration, performer login, view schedule, verify performer real-time space and time assignments, and performers' upcoming assignments. Page you get after that is an introduction to how you register to be a performer in the pedestrian mall. The page you get after that is the actual registration form itself. Again, we're doing it in person at the booth. If you come to the window at the booth, we'll type it in and do it for you right there. If not, you can go online and do it. You're allowed to register only once. We do not require names. We just said that if you want to be anonymous, you can, but there are some benefits to giving us more information than minimally required. If you give us your email address, for example, you don't have to come to the lottery booth and find out what spaces are available. We will automatically email it to you the minute the lottery is run, so they know what space you have for the following evening. As you can see, we have first name, last name, group name, because you can register as a group or as an individual. You can't do both. You put down the number of performers. So if you register as a group, let's say you have 4 members of your group and only one shows up, that one can still perform. But we want to know if you're a group or not. The 2 things that are required are, the thing that is required is your password. And that's been one of the things we've had a little bit of trouble with, is people forgetting their password and coming back to the booth and registering again because they didn't remember their password. And so what happens is when you complete this registration form, we will give you a performer identification number. And that performer identification number will go on a sheet that has with it a QR reader code that you get to carry with you and place in front of you when you perform in the evening. Let me get a copy of that. If you'll indulge me for just a moment, I've got too much paper down here.
And therefore, while you're looking, does that mean that individuals...
Right. This is the form that is generated by a computer. This is an actual form. And what it'll have is your identification number at the top. And then what you'll do, the QR reader will tell you who this is. Everybody on the street, Fremont Street Experience Security, and our marshals have QR readers on their smartphones. And all you have to do is access the QR reader. In fact, I'll do one for you right now so you can see how this works. You access your QR reader. And you just hold it over the form, and it'll immediately tell you who the performer is, and it'll tell you if they're in the right spot or not. And of course, it's not going to work because we're on live TV. So that's just the way it is. In any case, when these are on the street, they work really well. They'll tell you what spot you're supposed to be in. They'll give security information. It'll give the performer the ability to protect their space that they won in the lottery. After you have registered, every evening until 8 o'clock, you can register for the lottery. And the lottery, again, will allot the spaces, the numbered and the lettered spaces, and at 8 o'clock, we cut off the lottery, and literally within 5 minutes, the results are known. They're posted outside the booth, and for those individuals who registered and gave us their registration, gave us their email, we will email them the results so they don't have to come down in person to know it. What we found is for the first couple of times that we did it, there were a lot of empty spaces, and so we decided that rather than have empty spaces on the mall, we would treat the unoccupied spaces as spaces that could be used on a first-come, first-served basis. And that has worked out pretty well because a lot of people didn't draw a space at all. They could go down there. If they could find a space, they could use it. If a performer was late showing up for a space and somebody used it, they had to get out of the space when the individual showed up, and everybody kind of understands that as well. But I'll get more to the lottery in a moment. Again, sequential performance was not part of it then. It's not part of it now, but I'm going to have some recommendations in a moment. I met with the street performers here in the council chambers on January 12th to discuss issues that they were having with the Fremont Street Experience Ordinance, and there were some complaints. Some complained that there was more conflict, particularly when it came to the unoccupied spaces. Individuals would move in, somebody would leave to go to the bathroom, and then they come back, somebody would fill it. But then again, if it's an unoccupied space, there's no way to protect it. That's the advantage of being in the lottery. If you've got a space assigned in the lottery, you've got your QR code with you that shows that, we will protect you when the marshals are down there. We have people using spots without proof that it's their spot. We've had homeless people using spots. We've had complaints that some acts were too big for the 6-foot circles. We've had, one individual indicated that they had a disabled tourist show up and want a picture, and I think there was a misunderstanding. The buskers, the street performers, are not allowed outside the circle during their performance, and any equipment that they have has to be in the circle with them. But that doesn't prevent a tourist from being in the circle with them. So a complaint that somebody in a wheelchair who might want to have a picture can't have it taken because the busker can't step outside the circle is solved by the fact that the person in the wheelchair can get inside the circle and have the picture taken. So I don't know if that was necessarily a valid concern, but I wanted to address it. We have problems with tourists blocking some of the zones. There have been indications from some people that acts have been leaving the Fremont Street Experience as a result of this. And some have complained that there have been reduced tips and harder to make money right now. I can tell you I've been out on the street an awful lot since this went into effect, and the reports on the amount of money that people are making are up and down. Some people tell me they're making a lot more than they made before. Some people tell me it's a night-by-night basis. Some people tell me it just depends on the kind of act that they have and whether or not they're kind of more of a mobile act or not. Some of the suggestions that were made by the street performers were to make the spaces bigger, extend the time limits, which are now 2 hours, and it's the top of every odd hour, so it goes into effect at 3 in the afternoon, changes at 5, changes at 7, changes at 9, changes at 11, and that's the last rotation until everything's a free zone again. Some have suggested expanding the number of hours so that it's more than just 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 1 in the morning, that it should be during the daytime too. Some have said that the decibel level needs to be changed and actually lowered because some of them think it's too loud. Some have argued that we should allow pairing up of acts, so acts that may not have drawn a circle can join another act in a circle. Some have advocated for a lottery system, which I will address in a moment, that allows you to pick your preference before the lottery is drawn. And I'll get into that in a moment. There is a circle identified as Circle J. It's right at the 3rd Street stage, right at the line between 3rd Street and Fremont Street. When that space is occupied, there's a 40-foot separation for all other performers, which means the free performance zone on 3rd Street, you're actually 40 feet back from Fremont Street when that zone is being used. There's been a suggestion that that be eliminated to allow people to perform closer to Fremont Street. We are studying that right now. We're not recommending a change at this time. The other thing people have suggested is putting a map of the circles on the website. We think that's a good suggestion, and we're going to do it. And they've also asked for phone numbers for Fremont Street Experience Security so that if any individual has a problem, they can just pick up a phone and call. There is a central number for Fremont Street Security. We're going to make sure everybody has access to that number, and they will then dispatch the appropriate people to the scene if there's a problem. Before this meeting today, I asked your office, Mayor, to give me an indication how many complaints you received about street performer issues on the Fremont Street Experience prior to the ordinance going into effect. And what the indication was, prior to November 2nd, you were receiving 2 dozen or more per month, and sometimes way in excess of that. Your staff indicated to me that since this ordinance went into effect on November 2nd, until the end of January, you've received 1 complaint total. The Fremont Street experience, I contacted them and asked them the same questions, and they've seen a dramatic reduction in the number of complaints regarding problems on Fremont Street. I have a couple of recommendations that I can make. There's only one recommendation that actually affects the ordinance itself. As I indicated, the map that we showed you when the ordinance was adopted had not been implemented yet. We hadn't gone out and put the circles down on the street. When we did, they've made some minor adjustments. So I'm going to be bringing back to you in the future an amended ordinance that amends only one thing, and that's that map. As far as the rest of it is concerned, I think we need to let it run a little bit more to study more as to whether or not we need ordinance changes. As far as the lottery is concerned, I don't think we need an ordinance change to do some of the things that have been requested by the street performers, and I think it might enhance the desirability of individuals to enter the lottery and get the spaces that they hope to get in the lottery. What happens right now, if you enter the lottery and you get an undesirable space for that particular performer, and undesirable is a little bit in the eye of the beholder, because I know individuals that prefer to be on the Neonopolis block all the way at the end and don't want to be in the middle of the street. And others, that's the more desirable spots and don't want to be at the end by Neonopolis. So what we're working on right now through Craig Andrews is a new computer program that will allow a street performer in the future to indicate their top 5 or top 10 spaces. And then to tell us, if you get them, great. If you don't get them, do you want to be in the lottery? In which case you get what you get, and you have to stick with it and you can't move. Or if you don't get your top 10, do you want to be out of the lottery, in which case you can do first come, first serve. The way it works right now is if you're in the lottery and you get a space, we don't allow you to trade and we don't allow you to move. That's too much confusion, and we don't want to create a situation where people are selling spaces on Fremont Street. And so right now we're working on that computer program. I can tell people in the street performer community that before that computer program is implemented, we'll have another meeting or two in these chambers. We'll demonstrate the computer program. We'll get their input, see if it is what they asked us to do. And when that's done, and only when that's done, will we implement it. But that will not require an ordinance change. When it comes to sound levels, I think it's another thing we need to study a little bit more. Again, 85 decibels is a pretty high level compared to the 75 that was one of the options. As you might recall in the original ordinance, it was 85 decibels during a certain time period and 75 during another time period. I've had people say it's too loud. I've had people say it's not loud enough, but Fremont Street has been enforcing that, and it seems to be working pretty well right now, but I think we do a little more study on that before we bring back any change. The anonymous registration, as you may recall at the meeting where the ordinance was adopted, I recommended a last-minute change that we wouldn't require your name or address or anything. We would allow anonymous registration. The anonymous registration may have created a problem, and I'm not sure yet. We have had a number of people dual registering, sometimes 5 or 6 times registering. Sometimes I can tell you it's not because they're trying to game the system. It's because they forgot their password, and they think the only way to get registered is to re-register again. Another group of people do want to game the system, and they want to register as groups and individuals and the like, and so we have multiple registrations there. Through business licensing, we have been going through those registrations and pulling out the dual registrations and notifying the individuals. I think what we would like to do is continue to do that, because that has been working to an extent. And what we would like to do, because it is a crime to dual register, is at some point in time we find flagrant offenders, we'll just start citing them. And if that doesn't solve the problem, then you can rest assured I will come back to you with a recommendation that we change registration from anonymous to name and address and the like to eliminate it. Again, those things don't necessarily eliminate anything, because I could come in and register as Brad Jerbick, or I could register as Bob Jerbick, or I could register as Dave Jerbick, and you would have no way of knowing unless you had a photo ID that went with it. And if you're registering from home, then we have no way of checking your photo ID. So this would necessitate a lot of changes in the registration process if we went to named ID. But again, we're keeping our eye on it. If we can't make this work anonymously, we will move to that change.
Can I ask you a question there? And it may be something that's prohibited by law. Have you thought of, is there anything like, your fingerprint ID? Because
The,
nobody can use your fingerprint ID. They can't match it. So just a fingerprint ID and not do away with everything else.
I'm going to tell you, the courts really, really frown on that level of identification. I think we could probably do pictures, so at some point in time, if we needed to, because that's one of the problems right now. We've had individuals claiming that there's somebody else. If you have 2 or 3 registrations and you just bring somebody else's, QR, and I say, I'm this fellow over here, and here's my proof, and I don't have any way of knowing that one way or the other. So we will look at your recommendation, Your Honor, and see if that's a viable.
To me, that's one thing that nobody can scarf and use because they'll have to duplicate it, and we're all different. And to me, you can come in, you can have a new wig, you can put on makeup. There's so many things you can do to your physical presence, but this is one thing that you own it. Mayor Pro Tem wanted to ask something too,
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to Mr. Jervik. What if we modified it to do a voluntarily provide your name?
We do that now.
Oh, you do that now?
We do that now, and we've got about 80% do give their full name.
80% providing their names? That's
Yes.
quite significant.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who have no problem doing that.
Okay.
And we have just about everybody wants to provide an email if they have it.
Okay, so that narrows that group down of the.
I love this.
Not so, yeah, I like the thumb. Your husband had Oscar had something about thumbs one time about graffiti.
them off.
Remember?
Cutting
Cut them
them
off.
off.
Remember that, Councilor?
I'm going to say, if you were,
Turtle.
Yeah, right.
if you were a graffiti vandalist, I don't know if you would have the ability to provide a thumbprint.
But then you'd eliminate everything, and that can be re-identified in any handheld or anything, your thumbprint,
Right.
so.
Again, we're going to want to come back to you. My recommendation is that we come back to you in June. We want to see a couple of things. I've talked with Fremont Street Experience. I've talked with our marshals. I've talked with Metro. I think we're all interested to see what's going to happen when the weather changes. When this rolled out, we actually got a little bit lucky because we had some bad weather, and so there weren't a lot of people, so we had a lot of room to work with this. And we've had some recent cold weather that's reduced the crowds down there. But even with the cold weather, we've had pretty much every performance zone taken in a lottery. That doesn't mean that everybody shows up to perform in that zone, but almost every performance zone has been given out every night in the lottery. And so we want to see what it's going to look like when we get to warmer weather, perhaps bigger crowds, and see if that doesn't promote more thought and more ideas for change. I also wanted to mention that a fellow named Ray Zone, who is a performer on Fremont Street, called in, and I promised I would put it on the record. He is disabled, and he wanted to know if we could do call-in registration because he doesn't have access to technology, and he doesn't want to have to necessarily come down and do this at the busker booth every evening. And so we're looking at those things too for any individuals in our community that are handicapped, that are unable to come down to the booth or whatever. We'll see what we can do. Right.
He can do that from home then, too.
Right. Again, that concludes my report. I'm going to recommend, like right now, that all we do is bring you back an ordinance with a changed map, that we continue to look at the issues that have been raised by the street performer community. I do want to tell you that I think there has been an enormous improvement downtown. I think it's visible to just about anybody who goes down there. I want to thank personally the ACLU and Todd Story. They worked with us on the beginning. We met again last week to see if there were any updates or suggestions or complaints that they had received, and there were none, and they had no suggestions to add to today's presentation. Mary McElhone, I hope she's still here. What an incredible person. She has really, really put this thing together. She has tied together the IT people. She's tied together people on her staff. I want to thank Ryan Kelch and Keith Weller, who have been manning that booth down there, one getting paid, one voluntarily, that have kept that thing running and have made friends in the busker community that have really got buy-in. And I think that's one of the things that makes this thing work. When government goes in and does something like this, it works so much better if people get it and they benefit from it. If they don't, there's not enough enforcement on the planet that's going to make this thing work. And right now, it's been very successful, in large part to some of the people who are sitting here in the audience that are members of the busker community that don't like all of this, and I'm not going to tell you that they do. And some of them don't like any of it. But there are a lot of people that are at least giving it a try right now to see if it can work. I want to thank Craig Andrews with IT. He is just a miracle worker, and he's going to be developing this new computer program in the next couple of weeks. Lieutenant Scott Barney and the team of detention and enforcement officers, they have made all the difference in the world down there. Captain Walsh and the Metropolitan Police Department, you see a stepped-up presence down there that's also made a difference. FSC Security have been incredible. They have taken a couple of individuals out of the dark blue shirts and put them in light blue shirts, and they are just devoted exclusively to street performers. So they go around making sure people are in the circles, protecting the property that people have got as a result of the lottery, making sure that the decibel levels comply with the decibel levels set in the ordinance. Bud Pico over at FSC, I can't thank Bud enough. He has been incredibly helpful. He's been there all the time, early in the morning, late at night, always available. And finally, Adam Flowers, and you know Adam, Your Honor. He showed up many, many times, and while I can't have everybody in a room refining some of these ideas, he's been helping collect some of them and put them together and help refine this lottery. With that, I just want to say thank you for your time and your attention, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
I want to thank you, Mr. Jerbeck. I cannot tell you from day one and the complaints that we were all receiving on a continuing basis of such a variety of natures that, in fact, you have taken a hold of this thing and made it your charge. And with all the people that you thanked, and Craig, of course, for this incredible program that's been developed, and Mary and everybody else on your staff, your many trips to California to check it out and see it. I know that we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg and results here, but it's phenomenal, and I've been hearing it personally when I've been out, and also by people who have properties down on Fremont Street under the canopy. So I think it's wonderful, and you did mention you have some of the performers here and
Yes.
would recommend to hear from them.
Would anybody,
So would you please, and maybe we give a couple of minutes to each of you. We'd love to hear, and if you, may we ask their name, Mr. Jerbeck, or not? Do we not ask? Should we ask for a fingerprint? Oh, do we know? Would you mind giving us your name?
Mayor Goodman and staff, my name is David Shad Owens. I am DeVito on Fremont Street. I'm an impersonator, but it's a magician and balloon artist. And I'm Italian, of course. I got a big family. It's kind of hard for me to explain. The circle works for me in a way when it's warmer. But I'm a traveling performer. I like to move around and interact with the audience. Because they see me, hey, it's DeVito, and they want a picture then. And I can actually stop, and when I move around to different spots, it's kind of hard for me to do that because they automatically want pictures. And they look fond on that, the people in the blue and security, because when I move, I want to give them the pictures, but I can't. I have to move to a spot. Now, there's booths there, and they don't like performers around the booths. That's another thing we have to concern about. If we can move around and have actual, when we move in, actually stop and take pictures, maybe work something like that for us performers that actually like to move around.
Generally, when you add up the pluses versus the negatives of what was before, are you feeling better about your ability to perform without problems?
I can perform anytime. I mean, like, when I do two characters. I do Louis the Palmer. I do the twin character, and I also do the Penguin from Batman. And each character I do actually look like the characters that Danny DeVito does. Now, I got Batman I work with, and also got Jack Skeleton. And
But is it better now that we have made an effort towards coming to resolution on a place for you to perform? Is it working better for you than it was before?
It kind of is and kind of not. It all depends on weather-wise.
Okay.
The weather-wise, like Saturday was great because of warmer weather. And actually people can come up and see us.
Well, our hope is that you will find anything that you think is really significant that you'll tell Mr. Jerbeck to take under consideration of ways that we can improve it so every performer gets a fair opportunity to have their space to do what they do. So we appreciate that you've come down here to talk with us, and I know that Mr. Jerbeck is always available to you.
Yes, it's great to have him here with us, and
thank you.
It works out and everything on the spots for me too. So
thank you so much for coming
Welcome.
down. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you there.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you. Please.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Council members. I am Lucky Joe, one of the street performers down there. And just the one main thing I wanted to mention was we need more spots because like he mentioned, 464 performers registered. They might, some of them may be registered twice or whatnot, but there's a lot more performers than spots that can be allocated to each.
Question, if I might there, if you made more spots in an area that obviously is limited, does that reduce the amount of time and the size of the circles? Is that a possibility to create or no?
You know, we looked at that early on, and we'll certainly look at that again. One of the problems is if certain things just kind of are just a matter of mathematics. If the circles are 6 feet and they're 40 feet apart, we couldn't fit any more than 38 down there. And I've got to give the map to anybody and say, tell me how we can fit more, we'll be glad to. If you reduce the circles, it might, by diameter, you're going to have more complaints that they're too small, and we might squeeze another couple circles in. If you reduce the distance, you're going to have the competition, the noise on top of each other again. So every time, it's like a balloon. You squeeze on it here, it bulges out here. But we'll talk in the meantime, and we'll see what we can do.
One thing I did want to mention is not all performers make noise. A lot of us are visual entertainers, and so it's just photos. And 40 feet apart is not necessary for two people just taking photos. You know.
Thank you. Well, I would welcome, too, that you continue on so that it can be evaluated, and then Mr. Drubik can share with you why this works or why it wouldn't work. But, I mean, obviously, his response then and there was very clear that if you reduce it. But thank you. We really appreciate it. Is it better than it was? Do you feel, from your perspective, that it...
From my perspective and my performance quality, it doesn't really matter.
So you're okay?
I'm fine with it,
Okay.
yes.
So that's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. And saw you early this morning, so thank you for spending, you maybe needing to go to bed, so you're ready for tonight. Anyone else?
Your Honor,
Yes, please. Mr. Beers, Councilman Beers?
is there more public testimony?
The same performer?
No, I was just going to say, Brad, this is a great presentation.
Well, thank I'm out of my performance zone, Councilman. I don't want to get a ticket. So I appreciate it. I do want to mention one last thing, that we do have a survey going on downtown right now. So anybody who's watching on TV know that we have a survey that is asking the street performers if they want to have the lottery adjusted, as I suggested, to allow you to pick spaces. And if it's adjusted, would it allow you to opt in or out of the lottery if you don't get the ones that you want? The other thing that happened last week is Keith went around downtown and was asking individuals, would you prefer a different kind of identification that would be more certain, so it'd be less bluffing that I have this spot or not? And use kind of the city badge as a model, a plastic badge, something you could clip on or have near you that would have your barcode on it or your QR reader code on it, your name, what character you're performing, and maybe even a picture. And there was at least some positive response to that. We didn't hear anybody say no. Some people didn't want a picture, some did, but nobody said no, just like a permanent type badge. So that might be something else we'll bring back to you in June.
So we're still a work in progress, you feel?
That's correct. But
So
so far, so
any
good.
input, how do they contact you, Mr. Jerbick, if they're a viewer at home?
Everybody knows how to contact me. A lot of people have my phone number, and so I get a lot of phone calls. But anybody, if you really want to contact me, it's at bjerbic, B-J-E-R-B-I-C, at lasvegasnevada.gov. I've had a number of individuals that have sent me emails and updates and pictures and things like that, and I appreciate it. And everybody knows that I'm out there on the street at least a couple times a week, and if they need to get a hold of me, they can. And
Absolutely phenomenal. We're so grateful to you, as are the tourists and the business owners. I know that you've done a phenomenal job, and I know you've been spending every night down there. Maybe you'll get a rest going forward. And I really do ask you to look into the thumbprint, because as you held up the ID badge, and any cell phone could look right at it, pick it up, and know that this isn't that person.
we will, Your Honor. We'll look into all your suggestions.
Great. Thank you all for coming down here. We really appreciate that you're spending the morning with us down here, and kudos to you. And take the tip when you come up back on the backside.
I would make a motion to accept the report, Mayor.
Okay, there's a motion to accept this wonderful report. And please cast your vote, and please post. That motion passes. Again, thank you. And agenda item 29 has been obeyed until the 2nd of March. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so we go on to agenda item 30, R4-2016, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution establishing downtown Las Vegas as an innovation district for the purpose of promoting and adopting new transportation infrastructure and mobility technologies. This is for Ward 1, 3, and 5, Councilwoman Tarkanian, Councilman Coffin, and Barlow. Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning, Mayor. My name is David Bowers. I'm Director of Public Works for the City of Las Vegas. I'm here today to talk to you about this resolution. Our most recent efforts on the Smart City application, which I believe you're all familiar with, have really brought us to the realization that we're entering a new era of mobility and technology. Our city has an amazing opportunity to enter into this technology because of the local shows, the CES show and the SEMA show both really highlight this, and we have travelers from all over the world that come to see these shows. During the most recent CES show, which attracted over 160,000 attendees, we worked with Delphi Automotive. And basically what we did is we provided them connections to our traffic signals that allowed their vehicles, their autonomous vehicles or self-driving vehicles, to basically interact with these signals and know in advance when they're getting ready to turn, which is as opposed to a camera on the car that would rely just on sight visibility. The discussion of autonomous vehicles is no longer will it happen. The question now is when will it happen? And really we expect this to be, have these vehicles on the street by 2020. So it's coming, and the best way to prepare for this really is to interact with these companies and then work with them and bring it to our city as soon as possible. The state of Nevada was the first state to adopt legal laws that allowed this type of technology to be on our streets, and while we were the first, we're starting to fall behind a little bit. There's several other states that have adopted similar laws, and they're already working with some of these companies to bring them into their cities, and they have test facilities, different things that they're already working with. Many of our transportation problems can be solved with autonomous vehicles. For instance, you can travel at higher speeds, you can travel more closely together, you can pace signals better, so there'd be a lot of advantages that we're experiencing now with transportation issues that could be solved, and in fact, it would be much safer. Currently, experts say that 9 out of 10 accidents are caused by human interaction, so this would eliminate that factor. The innovation district created by this resolution will provide a stage for pioneering a combination of new technologies that will allow for connected infrastructure, responsive urban design, and advances in telecommunication and mobility. With your support for this resolution, our staff will establish policies and procedures for the promotion and adoption of this new industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Councilwoman's not here. Councilman Barlow or Councilman Coffin, are there any comments, questions? Oh, yes, Councilman Bierce.
I was just going to say, I thought that Councilwoman Tarkanian set her buttons on autonomous settings, so she'll still be able to vote, even though she's not in the room with us.
Oh, my gosh. All right, yes, please.
I should have commented when you asked, and so thank you very much. Briefly, this is important because we have to unify our thinking, and we have a lot of proposals out there, even a lot of projects going on, and not just city, but RTC and within the county's jurisdiction too. There's stuff that we need to make sure we pull it all together because it all counts, in the end, and saves a lot of money and a lot of angst on the part of the public. But I think this is really for our advantage. Thank you.
And therefore, do you want to make a motion?
No, very well. Then I thank you. I move for approval of item 30.
Thank you very much. There's a motion to approve, and thank you very much, Mr. Bowers. Please vote, and we're going to count Councilwoman in automatically. We can't do that. Thank you.
Mayor.
It carries very much. Okay, agenda item 31. Boards and commissions for possible action, appointment and reappointment of members to the Community Development Recommending Board, CDRB. Procedure for this board is appointed by the City Council. The Department of Community Services recommends the following reappointments: Mike Acker, Audrey Aslin, Rodney Jordan, Pam Hartley, Roxanne McCoy, Tom McGrath, Carmen LaShawn Miller, Dev Inder Pappas, A.J. Powell, Darrell Ewan, Terry Janison, Ranzazu Jimenez, and Nathan Taylor. And that will be my motion. Please vote and please post. That motion carries, and I gather, City Clerk, you will then notify everybody of their reappointment. Thank you very much. Agenda item 32, recommending committee bill eligible for adoption at this meeting. Bill number 2015-99. Councilman Barlow, would you like to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 2015-99, First Amendment, an ordinance to extend the boundaries of the city to prescribe land annexed to make its inhabitants subject to laws, obligations, and benefits of the city, and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
There's a motion to approve agenda item 32. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. On agenda item 33, Councilman Barlow, would you like the bill read?
Before we move on, I want to make sure that that was First Amendment on your motion.
Yes, that is First Amendment on my motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on the second one, you would like it read, yes?
Yes.
Thank you,
Please.
Councilman. Bill number 2016-1, in order to extend the boundaries of the city to particularly describe to be annexed to make its inhabitants subject to laws, obligations, benefits of the city, and to provide for other related matters.
There's a motion to approve on 33. Please
Move for
vote
approval.
and please post. Councilman Ross?
Well, Your Honor, I will reluctantly vote yes, but once again, we have a gender mistake in our road signs. Oso Blanca is incorrect. It stands out like a sore thumb to the Latino community here in this town and to our visitors who I think are more sophisticated than those who did that name. So I just want to say I guess I will vote yes, but I'm registering my complaint again for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 34, bill number 2016-3. Councilman Barlow, would you like the bill read?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 2016-3, an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Code to update provisions regarding the relocation of off-premises signs that are required to be removed in connection with the installation of publicly funded improvements and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
There's a motion to approve for 34. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Agenda item 35, Bill 2016-4. Councilman Barlow, would you like the bill read?
Yes.
Please, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. Bill number 2016-4, an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Code to prohibit the use of motor vehicle sales used on Rancho Drive between Vegas Drive and Craig Road and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
There's a motion to approve agenda item 35. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Agenda item 36, Bill 2016-5. Councilman Barlow, would you like the bill read?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you. Bill number 2016-5, an ordinance to amend LVMC 6.50 and certain sections of the Unified Development Code Title 19 to clarify alcohol land use and licensing requirements and regulations, and to specifically delineate the types of proposed establishments that are entitled to apply for land use entitlements and alcoholic beverage licenses, permitting the sale of packaged liquor, and also the types of establishments that are entitled to sell all types of alcoholic beverages, including hard liquor, and the types of establishments that are limited to the sale of beer, wine, and coolers only, and for other related matters. There is an amendment that I would like to propose to this. On the first page of the bill, there are two columns in the table that indicate CM, and the final one to the far right should be M, which is the industrial district, and so would recommend that as a First Amendment.
Okay. Move for approval, First Amendment.
Thank you. There's a motion on 36. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Agenda item 37, bill number 2016-6. Councilman Barlow, would you like the bill read?
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Thank you. Bill number 2016-6, an ordinance to extend the boundaries of the city to particularly describe the land to be annexed to make its inhabitants subject to the laws, obligations, and benefits of the city and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
Thank you. A motion on number 37 to approve. Please vote. Please post. That motion carries. Agenda item 38, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption later meeting. Items 38 to 41, bills number 2016-7 through 2016-10 will be heard later meeting. We will move on to agenda item 43. Okay. Agenda item 40. Whoopsie.
It's the only change from the 16th to the 29th.
Okay.
42 is stricken.
42 is stricken, correct. So agenda item, new bills, 43. Agenda items, 43 bills, number 2016-12 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on February 29th, not the 16th.
Correct.
2016. And City Attorney, if you would read the new bills, please.
Yes, thank you. Bill 2016-12, in order to extend the boundaries of the city, particularly describe the land to be annexed, to make its inhabitants subject to laws, obligations, and benefits of the city, and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much. These new bills, 2016-12, is assigned to council members Barlow, Anthony, and Ross. Thank you, and we'll move on to agenda item 44. Please set the date on appeals filed or required public hearings, instructing the city clerk to set those dates and appeals from the city planning commission meetings in dangerous building or nuisance litter abatements. Done? Okay. All right, agenda item 45. Citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Nobody's coming. Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 46, which is council member participation. Whoops. Council member recognition. Comments by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless that subject is on the agenda scheduled for action. Is there any member council who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda? Councilman Beers, start with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll be meeting folks in Ward 2 at the Coffee with the Councilman event on Friday of this week, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. We'll be over on Sahara at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in the Lakes Business Park. And then in a couple of weeks, if you prefer after work, we'll have Beers with Beers at the Roadrunner Saloon on the corner of Buffalo and Washington, Thursday, February 18th, 2016, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That was on this day in music history, 57 years ago today, that the airplane carrying Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper went down in Iowa. The day the music died, the plane had just taken off from the Mason City, Iowa airport, which is the home of Meredith Willson, who had used his hometown as the setting for his Music Man musical. The Big Bopper had a cold and begged another band member to let him take the plane instead of the bus so he could get some more rest. That band member who gave up his seat, pretty famous, Waylon Jennings. Interesting, Councilman Coffin is correct that Osa Blanco is incorrect grammatical Spanish. But we've come a long way, baby. Richie Valens was actually born Richard Valenzuela, and his agent made him shorten it to Valens because back in those days, that's what we did in showbiz. Anyway, that's all we got, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Wow, I've seen that movie so many times about, oh, both Buddy Holly and Richie Valens. Is it Valens or Valens? You pronounced it Valens. Is it Valens or Valens? Before your time.
I was actually born 57 years ago.
Oh, was today?
No.
Okay. Are you older than this date?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. Okay. Okay, Councilman Anthony, what do you got going in Ward 4?
Pretty quiet.
Quiet, okay, that's always good. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. It's
Oh,
never
look
quiet.
what's coming.
It's never quiet.
No, I like page 2 better.
You like page 2 better?
Yes. Okay, go. No, but that's cute.
Well, this is a photograph of some young adults who are from Metro's Explorer program and the Las Vegas Fire Rescue Explorer program that came out to my crime prevention night with Sheriff Lombardo and our fire chief and a whole bunch of other great folks that came out of Centennial Hills Community Center. But in order to celebrate Valentine's Day
But
correctly,
wait,
yes.
you do recall when we had these little mannequins here in
Yeah.
front of City Council.
Yeah,
We
they're
were
used
all
for hands-only CPR, so
Yeah,
it's not
and I
mouth
hope
to
they
mouth.
wash them in between.
They actually do, and these are great young people who are going to be great future leaders. Chief Slattery's in that photograph along with me, so he oversees that program.
Wonderful.
He's our chief medical doctor for the Las Vegas Fire and Rescue.
And at UMC, too.
And my wife wanted me to wear a red tie today because in honor of Valentine's Day, and I thought, I'll do that next meeting. But in honor of Valentine's Day, I am hosting out at Tule Springs Park the Sweets and Treats 5K 1 mile fun walk on Saturday, February 13th. It's going to be a lot of fun. First 100 registrants will receive a T-shirt, early bird registration. You can go to LasVegasParksandRec.com to sign up. It's going to be a wonderful day out at the park that day. Bring your dogs, make sure they're on leashes, and bring your duty bags with you. And also, Mayor and Council, in our continued partnership, unfortunately, we have to have this continued partnership with Nevada Child Seekers. We do have a missing young man. His name is Daniel Weisenhut. He's 16 years old, 5'9", 150 pounds, hazel eyes, brown hair. Last contact was January 23rd, and he was last seen in the area of Valley View and Southern Highlands Parkway. He was last seen wearing a plain dark blue T-shirt and navy blue sweatpants. He does have visible acne scarring on his face, and may be carrying a backpack with personal belongings. If anyone knows this young man, please help us get it back to where he is going to be cared for. Call Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at 702-828-3111 or Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009. And our rate for bringing these kids home, Mayor, is in the high 90s, I think.
Wonderful.
In regards to locating them.
What school had he been, or was he zoned
Well, that would be out of
for?
Southern Highlands, so I wouldn't know the schools on that side of town, but that's the southwest side of town. But nonetheless, we're always trying to find these kids and bring them back and get them where they are going to be cared for.
Without question.
If you want to get in touch with me, that's a real hard thing to do. You can always go to LasVegasNevada.gov/Ward6. I am on Twitter and Facebook, or you can do the old-fashioned way. Pick up the phone and call my office, 702-229-6154. You can always email me at councilman-sross@LasVegasNevada.gov. And Mayor, that's all I have from Ward 6 today.
Beautifully done. And Councilwoman, you're up next, please.
Well, I'm asking the citizens of our community to join me on Saturday, February 13th at 9 a.m. at Garside Pool for what is known as the Polar Bear Plunge.
Oh, my.
The daring residents can jump or slide into the crisp 50-degree water for a good cause. All proceeds from the event will be used to purchase swim attire for those who are in need of obtaining such during the summer 2016 season. Advanced registration is $3 per person at Pavilion Pool. It is $5 at the door on the day of the event, cash only. Every jumper will receive free hot chocolate to warm up, and I assure you, if I'm there, you'll have free hot chocolate to warm up afterwards. For more information, please call 702-229-1488. I'd like to mention today a very important thing about McNeil Estates neighborhood. Their association is organizing a variety of Valentine's activity for its residents, and it's all on one day. It's a Red Cross blood drive. I'd like to point out that McNeil Neighborhood Association is the only neighborhood association in the city who does sponsor such blood drives in their neighborhoods. They will also be, the children of McNeil will be making Valentines for the Children's Hospital. There will be a bake sale to support the center serving the gay and lesbian community, and they will also be offering free coffee on the curb. All these activities take place today. No, not today. It says February 3rd. What is Saturday? Whoops. This coming Saturday. Should it be the 13th? Excuse me. Okay, then it's the 13th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. If that's what you say, we'll go with that.
A week from Saturday.
A week from Saturday, yes. because I know today's February 3rd, because today is my daughter's birthday.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Jody. Okay. And we are going to have a Youth Career Empowerment Summit taking place on Saturday, February 27th from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at Clark High School. The event is for high school students, and it will include interactive workshops, open interviews, job placements, and internship opportunities. This is done through the JAG Association. Breakfast and lunch will be provided to those attending, and high school students are encouraged, bring your resume. We can look it over, we can see if we can make improvements or make suggestions to you, and please be sure to dress in professional attire because there will be interviews. It's a very, I think, crucial thing for people going out getting jobs at a time when it's hard to get jobs, to learn how to do the interview process, the resume in as good a way as possible. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Councilman Barlow.
Jeff, are we good in the back with that attachment? Okay, good deal. We'll start off with Coffee with the Councilman on February 4th, and I'll take the liberty also as a side note, to congratulate my baby brother, Toby, for his birthday on tomorrow. So hopefully he'll stop by Coffee with the Councilman with me tomorrow. We'll be at 1925 North Martin Luther King Boulevard at Mount Moriah for Coffee with the Councilman. I will be there from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. So if there's anyone from the community that would like to come out and have a conversation with my staff and I, please come on out. Coffee with the Councilman, February 4th. On February 13th through the 14th, Cinderella, the Smith Center presents one of the most adored love stories of all time, Cinderella. It takes center stage Valentine's Day weekend. Cinderella's rags to riches fairy tale will enchant lovers' hearts and enthrall even the youngest of fans. For more information, please visit www.thesmithcenter.com/events. On March 5th, Ward 5 Fishing Derby, the annual Fishing Derby, will take place out at Lorenzi Park on Saturday, March 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Ward 5 staff is teaming up with the community partners to host this free fishing day for our youth and their families. Breakfast and lunch will be available while supplies last. Bring your fishing pole, friends, and neighbors to take part in a beautiful day fishing out at Lorenzi Park. For more information, please contact my office at 229-5443. And of course, in recognition of African American History Month, I would like to also post this flyer with all of the variety of events taking place around the community for African American History Month, taking place at the West Las Vegas Theater at 951 West Lake Mead Boulevard. And for more information, feel free to go to the Las Vegas Library website for all of the locations and events that are taking place throughout the community. You may find that information at www.lvccld.org for more information. And of course, you may follow me on social media, as always, on the following sites: Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and of course, simple, my website, lasvegasnevada.gov/Ward5, or just contact my office at 229-5443. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And are you providing bait, the bait for your fish off?
Yes, yes.
What,
As a matter of fact,
worms? What are you providing?
we have a variety. We have mealworms, and we
good.
also have earthworms that we'll be feeding the trout, catfish, and I believe perch that will be filled up inside of the
Wonderful.
Twin Lakes.
And if you have a great turnout, you can pull the worms in half, because they create new heads on both
Yeah,
ends.
that's
So
true.
it's great.
That's true. So come
So,
on out. We
go
have a
on
great
out
time each and
fishing.
every year.
Go fish.
To go fish.
Go, wonderful,
All right.
thank you. And one thing, you're having coffee, as you say, is that your new Starbucks?
Yes, this is the new Starbucks at the corner of Lake Mead and Martin Luther King, and it's a major hit. I mean, it stays packed. So
Well, and guess what? On the,
Yeah.
what date? On the 23rd, I'm coming to your
On the
Starbucks.
23rd, yes, February
Which is
23rd.
after the next council meeting, which is on
Absolutely.
the 21st. So I'm
Yeah.
not announcing in advance, but
Okay.
congratulations to your brother and to Jody on their birthdays. I have a son whose birthday is going to be the 19th, which is before the next council meeting. And we're happy to celebrate the Chinese New Year as well. It's going to be the year of the monkey, which is a great year. Everyone, we're having a big parade out at the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace at 10 a.m. So please come out there and join us at the Forum Shops at February 8th, Monday at 10 a.m. And our next council meeting will be February 21st, right here, beginning at 9 a.m. in Chambers. And staff, thank you very much for all that you do to make this city just really a leader around the country, and I'm sure around the world, and everybody who's helps make these council meetings go so beautifully. Thank you. Thank you, staff in the back. And we are adjourned.
Staff in the front.
And did you need some help, sir? You just came at the